Israel's doing. It's like they should just go in there and be like, you know what? We want our hostages back. If we don't have them back, clock starts now in fucking 24 hours. We're going to start bombing motherfuckers and killing fucking civilians. 30, 40,000 a fucking time. So you civilians better fucking pack up and fucking get these fucking motherfuckers and you go against Hamas. You fucking go against them. We're not playing fucking games with you. But that's the only thing people understand. This is what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
What's going on, folks? So Kid Shit for Brains Rock thinks that the solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict is killing even more civilians, and he's not even trying to hide it or pretend that they're not civilians like some other people are doing. He's just straight up saying, go kill the civilians in some of the stupidest, most drugged out boomer logic I've ever heard in my life. I don't care, left wing, right wing, celebrity, not celebrity. I mean, this is one of the dumbest, stupidest, most cracked out things I've heard in a long time. So we're going to talk about it. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Dream Rare podcast, a rare Sunday edition.
It's the Dream Rare podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Someone in the comments said Kid Rock was selling Bud Light hard too, or shilling Bud Light hard. I'm sure he was for Dana White because Dana did a big deal with the UFC and Bud Light. But today I want to talk about this clip on the Joe Rogan podcast where Kid Rock admits that he wants to ramp up the killing of civilians. And when it comes to this conflict, I don't talk about it that much. I don't like to just talk about war all the time. I'm not a specialist in one area. It's not something that's interesting. I don't like tragedies, and it's really sad what's happening on all sides of this war. But this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And a lot of people covering this war will say, you know, we're going after their government and the bad guys. We're not killing civilians. They're hiding this and that. Kid Rock, not so much. He's just like, let's just kill some more civilians. That's the way to do it. And I have a lot to say about this, but let's watch the full clip real quick. This is Kid Shit for Brains Rock, who is probably just so baked and fried out of his mind that, you know, it's like a combination of probably all the drug use that he's done in his life and his like boomer Zionist Republican, like, you know, cringe George W. Bush era neocon stuff. But here it is.
I don't disagree with what Israel's doing. It's like they should just go in there and be like, you know what? We want our hostages back. If we don't have them back, clock starts now in fucking 24 hours. We're going to start bombing motherfuckers and killing fucking civilians. 30, 40,000 a fucking time. So you civilians better fucking pack up and fucking get these fucking motherfuckers and you go against Hamas. You fucking go against them. We're not playing fucking games with you. But that's the only thing people understand. This is what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
So he wants the civilians to pack up and just kill tens of thousands of civilians until they pack up their stuff. What, they have to leave their house, pack up their stuff, and do what? Go turn against their government and perform a successful revolution? Okay, Kid Shit for Brains Rock. Who's here? We'll do a little quiz. We got to slow it down because Kid Rock is either his IQ is like 40 or he's so fried off of all the hard drugs he's done in his life that he can't think straight. We'll go real slow for Kid Shit for Brains Rock. Who's the president of the United States right now? Joe Biden. Did you vote for Joe Biden, Kid Shit for Brains Rock? No. Did I vote for Joe Biden, Kid Shit for Brains Rock? No. Do we want him to be president? No. Do we like our foreign policy in Ukraine? No. Do we agree with what the Biden administration is doing in almost any facet of life? No. Do we have the same environmental policy? No. Do we think that they're harming children? Yes. Do we think that they're harming adults? Absolutely. Do we think that they're making the cities unsafe so women are getting raped and killed in American cities? Yes. Do we think they're doing a bad job at the border? Yes. So, Kid Shit for Brains Rock. Should people you know be slaughtered, innocent civilians, because of what the American government's doing? Is that your fault? Even if you elect a Republican, does your family deserve to get slaughtered by a foreign government because of you can't successfully perform a revolution in America? Maybe Kid Shit for Brains Rock can drink his new Bud Light now that he's cool with them again because Dana White got a huge contract with them. Maybe you can figure out how to do that. The January 6th thing didn't work. I don't think it was a real insurrection. It was just like a little, I don't know, fit that people were throwing that went awry. But it's like you can't even get your own government to stop sexualizing children. You can't even get your own government to stop shoving pharmacy pills in kids' mouth. You can't even get your own government to close the border in America, which this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. It's supposed to be a republic or a democracy, whichever side you believe that you think it is. It's supposed to be like a free country that's prosperous and good for people. And we can't even control our own government. So do you deserve to die, kid shit for brains rock, because you can't control your own government and they go overseas and drop bombs on people, or they fund Zelensky to start a war that kills hundreds of thousands of Europeans? Like what part of that? I have multi-layers to it. What part of that concept does he not understand, or does everybody not understand? It's like the most simple concept. It's like, pack up, Kid Rock, get out of your mansion and go stop the Biden administration, or else a foreign government could kill you because you're not successfully stopping a like, is it that you think it's easy to do in any country? It doesn't matter if you're in Ukraine, America, Israel, Palestine, Russia. Like, I like people from every country. I know there's great people in Israel. I know there's great people in Palestine. I know there's great people in Ukraine and great people in Russia. I don't want to hurt anybody. And it's like this idea that they have just the luxury of just being able to overthrow their government. It's no easier in Palestine than it is in America or anywhere. Like, there's no a revolution's nearly impossible. And every revolution that we see in the world now is usually like some sort of staged fake revolution where governments around the world and billions of dollars are pouring in to fund the revolution, like an actual organic of the people revolution to overthrow corrupt leadership like Hamas. It's not like an easy thing that you could just do and then let's just kill the people there. That's insane. Like, and he's so stupid and baked out of, like, you know, all the drug use he's probably done in his life that he doesn't even try to pretend like they're not doing that. Like, other people are a little smoother with their approach. Like, we don't want to hurt innocent people. He's like, let's just hurt the innocent people like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It's like, okay, you know, Sean Hannity, relax, buddy. You know, like, just what, you want to drop a bomb on them so they do what? Unreal. Another talking point, because I know people want me to like take a huge stance and I'll probably get yelled at by both sides, but I would love for the war to stop. I know it's not just like possible for me to dream it and it to happen, but the narrative on, and by the way, for those who are going to like freak out in the comment section, I condemn what Hamas does. I don't agree with what they did or what they're doing now. I don't give a shit about them, to be quite frank. I don't care what happens to them. It's not my government. It's not my country. I don't think they're ethical or amazing or great. It's like, you know, but what I'm trying to say is this narrative that I've heard pushed so many times, they're like, you know, the innocent civilians aren't innocent because they elected Hamas. I've heard Alan Dershowitz say that. I've heard dozens of like very successful people say that on television. Let's look at the last election. When was the election for Hamas? I think it was in 2004, before Obama was elected president. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, but according to all reports, half of that area in Gaza is like under 18. So not only were they not old enough to vote, but like some of them weren't even alive when they got elected. And even if that got elected recently, electing the wrong government doesn't mean you kill civilians. If that were the case, every Republican would get shot dead in the street because Joe Biden's the president of the United States and nobody wants him to be president of the United States. America's corrupt. We're running rampant around the world and we're powerless. I can't do anything. Kid Rock's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's got property on Broadway Street in Nashville. He's got a bunch of guns. He's got, you know, rap songs and country songs, and he can't do shit. So if Kid Rock, a rich, successful celebrity, can't stop the Biden administration, how in the world is a 17-year-old kid in Gaza going to stop Hamas? Like, just because Kid Rock has probably abused drugs and he wants them to pack up their stuff and do what? Or else they deserve to die? It's just disgraceful. And trying to justify that shows how crazy people are. And I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, it's just Israel. It's like, I'm sure there's crazy people in Palestine. I know there's crazy people in Palestine. I'm not justifying what they're doing or anything, but it's like, this boomer Zionist, like stupid half-baked opinion of like the Kid Rocks of the world, where they're just like, oh, just kill all the kids, and then they'll release them. It's like, is that like, that's what you think's gonna fix the problem? Because the people can't switch their government? Can any countries switch their, like, is there a single country in the world that can successfully just like be like, yeah, I want a new government? Let's, like, no, it doesn't. It literally doesn't exist. In the last 10, 15 years, the most successful revolutions in a country haven't even come from real organic people. It's come from funding from Western countries so they can overthrow the leader, put a puppet in there, and then push their war agenda. I want to show you some things too, because I never disliked Kid Rock because he's conservative and we don't have a lot of like celebrities. Unfortunately, we only have like the drug addicts, like and like alcoholics like John Daly and Kid Rock. And I like John Daly. He's awesome, but it's like he's just a degenerate. He smokes, he drinks. Like apparently that's all we could get on the Republican side is like Kid Rock and John Daly. So we hold them dear to our hearts. I like John Daly. I liked Kid Rock before this, honestly, but I went back and it's like, he's so dumb. He justified getting the vaccine on his Twitter because he's done a lot of drugs in his life. So he's like, this isn't the worst thing I put in my body. Like this is like 40 IQ, like drug addict, like logic. Like, look at this tweet I found. He said, if the vaccine was the worst thing I had ever put in my body, I probably would not have got it, Kid Rock. So he's admitting he got the Trump vaccine or the Fauci vaccine because he's put so much bad stuff in his body that injecting himself with synthetic mRNA or a Johnson & Johnson double pumpy it isn't that bad because he's probably just injected way worse stuff into his body. So yay, we have heroes on the right now. Here's Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying she urged people to take the Trump vaccine to combat low vaccination rates. Howdy, patriots. There's too many of you guys denying. And if you guys denied the vaccine, then how are the mandates going to work? We need to get compliance rates up so you're a slave forever. So you should take the Trump vaccine. Yucca, yucca, yucca. And these are our heroes. And this is who speaks at CPAC. And these are the controlled opposition people they put in front of you because they're like, yeah, let's just kill civilians and get vaccines because we did so many drugs. Or get the vaccine, y'all, because Trump did it. You want to fight China with the vaccine. And it's like, yeah, Sarah, the vaccination rates are too low in Georgia. I mean, hopefully we can get them to 90% so everybody complies and then the mandates work and then we never get our freedom back. Wouldn't that be great? That's loyalty in the Republican world. They have no loyalty to you. They have no loyalty to God. They have no loyalty to this country. They have no loyalty to the Constitution. Their loyalty is to, where's the money? Oh, Trump did the vaccine. I like Trump. Let me try to connive and convince a bunch of Southern freedom fighters to inject themselves with synthetic mRNA because we want that. These are the people that I'm supposed to want to like hang out with and like. It's just disgraceful. And you know, siding with Israel versus Palestine, I don't care. That's fine. Especially if you live in Israel, if you're from Israel, if you're Israeli, makes total sense. You know, why wouldn't you support your side of a war? I don't disagree whatsoever. If you're Ukrainian and you support Ukraine, you were born there and you want Ukraine to be free from Russia, I respect that. But if hundreds of billions of my taxpayer dollars go to this war and hundreds of thousands of Europeans are dying and our country's getting shittier, I'm also, as an American citizen with no loyalty to Israel or whatever, Ukraine or Russia, I want to be able to have an opinion about how it affects my country. And it's the same thing with Israel and Palestine. I'm not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. I don't want innocent people to be hurt on either side. I don't want to bomb civilians. That's crazy. That's insane. That's demonic. I mean, Kid Rock is like a drugged out demon. I consider these people just as evil as left wingers. Like, it's literally the lesser of two evils. Like, that's the MAGA pitch. As soon as I'm starting to feel Trump a little bit, like that's you get a bunch of drug addicts to go on Joe Rogan who like gobble on Trump's knob to say like, oh, we should just kill more civilians. It's like, oh yeah, that's a real good campaign slogan. Get one of the only celebrities who likes Trump to just talk about killing a bunch of kids on Joe Rogan's podcast and bomb them like Nagasaki. That'll really work because they can't overthrow their government like he can. You know, like he has the ability to fix the Biden administration in his country. It's like it's so disgraceful. I'm going to read a few comments in a second. I'm not even opening the comment section, but if you support Israel, great. You know, if you think they're doing too much or not doing enough, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and cry about a complex and unfortunate situation, but people of that ilk, they don't even think about what they say. They're just like, they deserve to die. Why did they deserve to die? Well, because they voted for Hamas. Do you know when the election was? No, I don't. When was it? It was in 2004. So they deserve to die because of a 2004 election? Yes. Do you deserve to die because of a 2008 election of Barack Obama? No. Do you deserve to die because of Joe Biden got elected? No. Why do you not deserve to die, but they deserve to die because of a 2004 election, but you don't deserve to die because of a 2020 election? Well, our election was taken from us. So do you think elections in a country that you say is corrupt and filled with horrible people, you think they have like really fair elections, but Kid Rock just wants to kill a bunch of Muslims and Christians and then call himself a Christian? He's probably more loyal to alcohol than he is Jesus Christ at this point. It's like, that dude is such a degenerate, but it's just disgusting. It's like, let's murder a bunch of Christians. Yeah, that's real Christian. It's like, what, on what planet? Because of why? Because they won't give the hostages over. Bro, can you give hostages back? Joe Biden probably has hostages. Can you give them back? Joe Biden's got a lot of things. Can you take things from Joe Biden and give them back to people? In fact, I mean, the Biden administration and his little cronies in Democrat politics all over the country are sucking hundreds of millions of dollars from Donald Trump. Can you stop them, Kid Rock? Can you stop Letitia James? Can you stop Alvin Bragg? Can you stop Engoron or whatever his name is, the judge who writes a bunch of plays? Like, you can't even stop them. Why don't you stop them? Oh, well, we should do something about it until Kid Rock can stop them and, leave your house and go get them. It's like, it's stupid. I don't care if people support Israel, but if they're this stupid and this evil, it's like, they don't think about anything. And the thing is, in the Republican world, before I read comments, this is the game that you have to play to get anywhere. If you say what Kid Rock said or something lesser that just is in the same ilk, you get promoted. They put you at CPAC. They try to make you into a celebrity. You get donor money. If you notice that Trump, DeSantis, Kemp, Youngkin, and the Republican Party is passing speech laws that make it illegal to criticize Israel, that make it illegal to talk about Jewish ownership and stuff, that make it pseudo illegal and changing the law definition to say that you're not allowed to talk about like biblical verses that include that topic, that are now pseudo illegal in certain senses, or at least the president's in law is there to make it that. If you talk about that, you're done. And I've talked about it a bunch. And to be quite frank, I don't feel like talking about this war that much because I've had my run-in with the Zionist media and it's awful. They're insane. They just lie about you. They go nuts. They, like, anybody that notices that politicians are passing speech laws in America, they just slander you in the press and go nuts on you because they want the speech laws there. They don't want anyone to be able to have free speech in America when it comes to topics that they don't want to talk about. So you get elevated in the Republican Party if you bang that war drum, and you get smeared and blacklisted in the Republican Party if you notice that Republicans are total con artist sellouts who are literally will sell out to anybody. The pharmaceutical industry, Pfizer, it doesn't matter. Their job is to pretend and make you think they're not doing that while they're doing that, and get you so emotionally attached to people like Trump and Kid Rock that you don't even realize that they're doing that. And you just lie to yourself emotionally because you're in love with the character of them, that you don't even look and see the fact that people like Trump took hundreds of millions of dollars and sold out. And when it comes to the Bud Light stuff that people are talking about, I don't care if people hate Bud Light, like Bud Light, boycott Bud Light, but you see who these people really are when you watch how that whole thing goes down. Say what you want about Matt Walsh. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't really care. Like, he's him, I'm me. But Matt Walsh is someone that like actually cared about that boycott, right? He was trying to be like the leader of that boycott because that's the topic that he talks about all the time. Say what you want about the guy, but like, I believe when it comes to that topic, at least Matt Walsh actually cares about it. Everyone else, they're all sellouts. Like Kid Rock shooting Bud Light cans, and then Dana White does $100 billion deal with Bud Light. Now he's in Bud Light commercials. I thought they did a UFC deal, which they did. Bud Light and the UFC did a partnership, but Dana White himself is in the Bud Light commercials. It's not just like, oh, let's sponsor UFC. He's in the commercials. You know, how much money did he get? Hundreds of millions of dollars for his company, and probably some on top of that, possibly. I don't care, but it's like the boycott's over because we took the money. That's the definition of selling out. It's like, hey, we're boycotting Pfizer, boys. Wait, Pfizer just gave Anomaly $100 million. Boycott's over. I got paid. And now you got to stop boycotting because I got paid. And I'm going to control you guys like a bunch of sheeple and tell you that it's over because I got paid. So as soon as Dana White got paid, you know, Kid Rock, who hangs out with them, said, oh, I'm done with the boycott Bud Light. You know, Donald Trump, I'm done with the boycott Bud Light because they got paid for it. And I think Trump took lobbying money as well from them. But it's just like, this is who these people are. It's just gross. And, you know, that I'm going to play that clip again. I don't care if you support Israel. I don't care if you want them to win the war, but like, you want to kill tens of thousands of civilians. You know, Justin Amash, who's one of the more good, like I would say, ethical politicians in America. He's not my favorite, but he's definitely like top 30. His family, who's Christian, got murdered in an Israeli attack in Israel. And these are the people that Kid Rock just wants to slaughter. The family, the Christian family of congressmen. I'm not saying it's any better to kill other religions. It's just like this half-baked, fried idiot, like boomer, is so stupid that he doesn't even realize that they're killing Christians. Like he just assumes that they're like they're killing a bunch of like animals or something. And he's like, they're all. It's like there's like a bunch of kids there. Psychopath.
I don't disagree with what Israel's doing. It's like they should just go in there and be like, you know what? We want our hostages back. If we don't have them back, clock starts now. In fucking 24 hours, we're going to start bombing motherfuckers and killing fucking civilians. 30, 40,000 a fucking time. So you civilians better fucking pack up and fucking get these fucking motherfuckers and you go against Hamas. You fucking go against them. We're not playing fucking games with you. But that's the only thing people understand. This is what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
How many people do you think have been killed by, let's count the deaths from opioids. Let's just do border deaths. How many open borders? How many kids have been killed from fentanyl? How many girls have been raped? How many people have been murdered by drunk driving, illegals, etc.? Total up all the deaths. If you include fentanyl, it's in the millions. So millions of people are getting killed because we have open borders in America. Is Kid Rock packing up his shit to go overthrow the government? No, because he'd get arrested by the FBI if he did that. So in our own country, millions of people are dying because of our government. Millions of people are dying because of our incompetence. Millions of people all over the world are getting displaced because of uniparty foreign policy that we have no control over. Yet he thinks that like 17-year-olds in Gaza should just get blown up because they can't overthrow their government, which was elected in 2004. And I don't know much about it as far as like, I'm not like, it's not my most passionate topic, but if your last election was 2004, I would assume that it's easier to get a new party elected in America than it is in Palestine, because it, like the fact that that was their last election is not a good sign of like democracy or republic. I don't think they have like a functional country where it's like that easy to switch the government, because it's easier to switch the government of America. But it's really actually not, because they just give you like a figurehead like Obama or Trump and the government stays the same. Obama gets elected. Change is going to come. We have a black man. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, that's so great. And he does the same thing. He elects Hillary Clinton, the uniparty, the swamp, and they do it exactly what they do during George Bush. Then Trump gets in. I'm an old guy who's rich and I'm going to fight the Obama administration. And he elects the uniparty. He elects Mitch McConnell's wife. He elects dozens or over 50 Bush officials. He elects the same bankers, the same military industrial complex, the same pharmaceutical lobbyists. Trump actually elected even crappier pharmaceutical lobbyists, which is the reason that you got so screwed. It's not because he's a victim to Fauci. Trump elected horrific people that are even worse than other puppets that other people put in. And that's what happens when you elect those type of people to those positions. And then Biden gets in and you see what his administration's doing. And now you have Rachel Levine talking about, gender. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. Heather said F off. Heather, why are you not able to fix your government? Are you responsible for your government right now? You can't, you're powerless to fix it. Should a foreign country come and fight you because you can't stop it? Someone said, I'm no longer on the side of conservatives and liberals. I want to be on the side of God and Christ. What's the solutions that I have, though? If people don't realize what's going on, it just keeps happening. The solution is calling it out. The problem is, and this is not a political problem, I think it's a problem of courage and honor. Most people in America, they don't want to be the main character in their lives, which, God made you, right? God made you to be you, not to be like a fan or, like to look up and like be like, oh, I don't have any chance in life. I would just got to look at one guy. Like that's called idol worship. And that's like heavily looked down upon. So if everybody just like mans up and notices things, then they stop happening. I'll give you an example. They're spraying in the skies in my county now. They're spraying some sort of, I got to look it up. I forget the name of it, so I don't want to mispronounce it because I like to be accurate. But they're spraying it in the skies to make it rain more. It's not a conspiracy. They're literally doing it. And no one knows. Is it going to change? No, because no one knows. If both parties are doing it or nobody in government cares, what's the solution? As you said, people have to notice and care. If you don't notice and care, you're not a victim. You're just like a non-playable character. It's the same thing with politics. The solution is like, if you think fighting with Trump and Biden, I'm not saying like go vote for Trump if you want to vote for Trump. That's fine. I still kind of hope he wins, but I really care a lot less than most people do. But it's never going to change. To me, that's like an inspirational message of reality. To others, that's like a mind-shattering, idol worship, ruining life moment because like, wow, I thought they were going to fix it. Since when? You know, all of this pharmaceutical corruption, you could blame Fauci and the left. That's what all the low IQ loser accounts do. Fauci sucks and the left sucks. But if you look at vaccine corruption and how we got to Operation Warp Speed plus Joe Biden mandates and Democrat mandates, it comes from mostly Republicans and a bipartisan Congress. Reagan passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Ronald Reagan, everybody's favorite conservative, passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act and took away liability shields from Big Pharma for childhood injections. And if you're a parent and you're too stupid to figure this stuff out with your kids and what's going on when you inject them when they're a newborn baby, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you like Trump or wear a MAGA hat or wear a pussy hat and watch Rachel Maddow. You're an idiot. Like, you know, wake up, parents. You know, they passed a bill to make it, you know, so you can't sue a vaccine manufacturer for a childhood vaccine and then the vaccine schedule rise. Like, if you're too dumb to figure that out, that's why they give you Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Rachel Maddow and Sean Hannity and, you know what I'm saying, Vivek and all these characters. It's like, so you don't ever realize this stuff. But like, you know, snap out of it. You know, what's more important than your own kid when they're born? If you can't figure out what you're doing to your kid when you're born, and then you chop part of your kid's dick off and you don't even think twice about it. Like, you guys are insane. You don't even realize it because you're like, the left, who cares? You don't even pay attention to your own newborn baby. So then you fast forward and George W. Bush passed the PrEP Act. The PrEP Act is what the COVID vaccine used as a liability shield. That was passed under George Bush. So you blaming the left literally doesn't fix anything. It didn't fix what Reagan did. It didn't fix what Bush did. And the Democrats were in on it too. But it's like your little pipe dream that this time it's going to be different is the reason that it's never going to be different. So the solution is to pay attention and be honest, and to keep scamming yourself for the next 100 years. Just worship Donald Trump and assume that he's going to fix it when he literally is not going to, because he's controlled, but he's a little better in some ways. But still, it's like, I don't need to spell it out for you. It's all there. The foreign policy, where they're getting the money, what they do, it's all right there. So that's the solution, but people don't want to hear that for whatever reason. They want to hear people tell them that like all they have to do is like vote and join a political party and then they're going to fix it. It's not going to get fixed. And with Kid Rock, like I've never really cared. Like, you know, he's like an iconic rapper. I mean, I wouldn't consider him like very lyrical. Like his lyrics were always very like slow and basic. Like I could destroy Kid Rock in a rap battle or a lyrical battle. Like the dude can't touch my lyrics. But like as far as like iconic songs and country rap and, you know, like he's the man. Never thought really much bad about him. Like I never looked for him for like spiritual advice, but as far as like a rock star, rap star, he was a cool guy. You know, he liked Trump. That's cool. Like he's Republican. That's cool. But like killing tens of thousands of civilians and kids because like you're a demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this is what people don't have in this country. They don't have like a backbone. They don't have a spine. They don't have courage. They don't have honor. So we're just blowing in the wind with whatever they want to do. But that's the type of stuff where it's like, if that's the lesser of two evils, is some degenerate, filthy, you know, drug addict, former drug addict, alcoholic, just talking about killing kids in a foreign country because they can't overthrow their government. If that's the best you can do, it's like, what's the, you know, like, it's not good enough for me. Someone said Anomaly's not arrogant at all. Sarcasm. I'm a better lyricist than Kid Rock. I could beat him in a rap battle. I could write better lyrics. I could flow better. he's got a good sound. He makes good songs. Kid Rock has like better hits than me, no doubt. But like, he's not a lyric. He's like rhyming like one word with one word. He's like, I'm rocking to my car. Now I'm in my bar. Now I am a star. He's not like a lyrical rapper. He's not like Cassidy or like, you know, even like Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, like Jay-Z's a good lyricist. J. Cole. There's a lot of really good lyricists. Kid Rock's not one of them. He's just not, you know, he can't. It's very basic, simple, you know, rhymes. Any MC or like lyricist knows that. It's like saying like Soulja Boy. Like Soulja Boy is an iconic rap artist, but he's not like a good lyricist. Tom McDonald is a good lyricist. He can rap and flow. Like Soulja Boy's not. It's just not. I'm not saying he's bad or you even have to be super lyrical, but it's just like the reality of the situation. Someone said lyrics don't need to be deep, bro. It's just music. I don't care. I've never disliked. I mean, I don't, you know, everybody doesn't do the same thing. I'm just saying it's the truth, but I just don't like that he wants to kill a bunch of kids. It's kind of creepy. Someone said that Bud Light money. But this is the issue with politics. Like, obviously everybody wants friends. Everybody wants like a team. I'm not anti-tribe. Like some people are like libertarian and individualism. I'm not that guy. I think tribes are good if your tribe is good. If you're part of a bad tribe, then tribalism's bad. If you're part of a good tribe, then tribalism's good. You can't just be a billion individuals. You need families, you need communities. You know what I'm saying? Like if you join like a soccer league, that's your tribe. You got a team, that's your tribe. I'm not anti-tribal. It's just I don't want to be in a tribe with people that want to kill a bunch of kids and like that are sellouts, you know? But in order to be in that tribe, like you have to just play along with this stuff. So like, you know, they're all mad at Bud Light, but then Dana White sees it as an opportunity. And you got to understand Bud Light comes to Dana White and crawling like, dude, we're losing white people. Conservatives hate us. Christians hate us. Like right wingers hate us. Like we've lost American pro-America people. Like, you're the guy who can get us back in good graces with them. So Dana White goes, hell yeah, I am. Takes a massive deal, puts himself in the commercials, and then goes to his buddies, yo, cut the Bud Light boycott. I got paid. You know, and then they all cut the Bud Light boycott. And Trump also, I forget the article, but he also takes lobbying money from them. Like he had a meeting with the lobbyist, and then the next day or a couple of days later, he tweets on True Social that it's over. Imagine if I was doing a Bud Light boycott and then I met with a Bud Light lobbyist who paid me off and then I came back and was like, guys, it's over. That's like the definition of selling out. It's not like an ethical choice. It's like a deal that they're striking. But the deal is for their bank account. At least get paid off it. If you feel attacked by Bud Light's tranny ad, then you deserve, you know, right-wing reparations. I'm just kidding. But it's like, you know, they got their reparations for the thing and they got paid. Like they're sucking up the money, but you're not getting the money. You know, they're just like, it's like if everyone got paid off it, then sure. But if only one or two people are making $100 million and then it's like, no, it's over. And then like Matt Walsh is like, why is it over? It's like, cause they got paid, you know, like it would be like if Matt Walsh got paid $100 million and he's like, boycott's over, boys. I got paid for you. I took the money for you. It's like my bank account got bigger. Not for me. I'm not taking all this Bud Light money for me. I'm doing it for all of us. It's like it's just hilarious. Like it's so funny, but it's also so stupid. Someone said it isn't about the tranny, it's about the diss to the base. But they feel comfortable dissing you because it's easy to diss you. You understand? Like I'm not trying to be rude or act like a tough guy, but people that don't respect themselves are easy to disrespect. If you're not like a real man or a real movement, they don't care about shitting on you because you're easy to shit on. So when it comes to like the tranny ad, they felt comfortable doing that because, yeah, they don't give a crap about you. And as soon as they do that and they lose your support, they still don't give a crap about you. They know how easy it is to buy MAGA. Just buy off Trump and Dana White, and all these little dummy sheeple will turn their message, you know? So it's like, that's how little they think of you. It's like, these guys are easy. Just get Dana White and he'll tell Kid Rock to stop, and then we'll get Trump and we'll do Peyton Manning ads, and these idiots will forget about it. And I'm not saying everybody did. A lot of people, that branding is like, they're never going to drink Bud Light again. It's not going to work. But that's what Trump tries to do. It's like, and his little people, it's like when people were booing Lindsey Graham at his rally, there's a clip of Trump. You should find it. I've played it multiple times on my show where he goes, they're all booing Lindsey Graham at his rally. And he goes, I'll fix you people. He's like, I'll fix you. Like he looks at you and he's like, you don't mean that. I control you. Yeah, get your booze out right now. I'll fix it. I'll come back and campaign for him. You don't mean that. I control. Like it's like that's what these people think of the base, because actions speak louder than words. Like to me, if you said, "Hey, South, go get the Trump vaccine during when the mandates are coming in," and this is a concept. I'm sorry to be repetitive, but it's important. I feel like I have to say this stuff because like very few people are saying it. So if I say it 3 times. It's not being said on other podcasts. The reason it was so gross for Sarah Huckabee Sanders and all these other people, even Kid Rock, to be like, "Oh, I got the vaccine," and promoting it is because it's a numbers game. I'm not even talking about the health effects, which should be talked about, but I'm talking about the numbers game. If you have a vaccine mandate that is obviously coming, it's obviously coming from the Democrats, but it's coming. How do you beat a vaccine mandate? People not complying. That's the only way you beat a vaccine mandate. If the left is doing the mandates and Sarah Huckabee Sanders is running around the South trying to get Southerners to get the vaccine, saying it's the Trump vaccine, it's good cop, bad cop. It's opposition and controlled opposition. It's we'll do, Republicans fund the vaccine. Republicans buy the vaccine. Republicans give tens or hundreds of billions of dollars to the vaccine industry. When it's all said and done, they push all of that money into big pharma. They hire pharmacy lobbyists. They declare an emergency with their pharmacy lobbyists. Then they have the PrEP Act. And then all the little Huckabee minions run around like Sarah Huckabee and say, "Oh, get the vaccine, y'all." They're not fighting the mandates. It's good cop, bad cop. It's when the one bad cop is being mean to you and the other one comes over and tries to get you to snitch on yourself and is like, "It's okay, buddy. I'm your best friend." They're working together. They don't give a fuck about you. It's like they're not trying. They never were trying to fight the mandates. You need a fake opposition in order to get stuff done. So the right wing was in on the vaccine stuff, and then the left mandates it, and then the right goes, "We're anti-mandate, but we're going to go on a tour to try to get people to get vaccinated." The only way to beat the mandates is to not comply. If you're begging for Southerners to comply, to me, that's like traitorous activity. You know what I'm saying? But she could be vice president, and these dummies on the MAGA side will be like, "Yay, Sarah, she's on our side because she likes Trump." Woo. It's like clown world, like that should be like instant. Okay, let's get somebody better than that to lead us. But it's like, yeah, let's get the pharmaceutical CEO who cried on January 6th and was running around making pharma money during the pandemic. That's who's the next president's going to be. Vivek. It's like this. Honestly, I think Republicans are just as dumb as liberals now. It's actually a freeing feeling because I despised liberals for like 4 years because they're so weird. They wear masks, they cry, they're like snitching on everybody. Their cities are shit. I don't like liberals have not done, but they make good music. So it's like, you still want to like bang out to some like, you're like, yeah, that's a good sad song. I like that. But like Take Me to Church. You're like, that shit goes hard. But anyway, then it's like, now that I realize how stupid and fake Republicans are, it's like, now I just don't care. Like, it's like a freeing feeling. Like, I don't have this like, oh, one side's doing it to me. It's not true. They're both doing it. It's just Republicans are the good cop and Democrats are the bad cop. They're all working together, including Trump. Like, I still don't agree with them taking his money and they're using him as a scapegoat to hurt you as well. And, it's like they're wasting his time and money and it sucks, but it's like, it just doesn't matter. So why am I voting? Because I want him. Because I mean, we'll see what happens. The election's in November, but I'm definitely going to vote locally. Someone said, people like Kid Rock are responsible for the deaths of so many naive white guys in the country. That's also true. I mean, he could be an industry plant where he's like, "Hey, y'all, let's be badasses and say F the police and do the drugs and drink the beer." And it's like, it's like that was like his whole vibe when I was young too. Like I was like in 6th grade. And honestly, probably the first degenerate stuff I ever heard was Kid Rock and Eminem. They could be industry plants to just try to kill white people. It's like, "Hey, let's do drugs, kids. Oh, what's cooler than a white guy on a horseback with a cowboy hat doing drugs?" Like, it's like that was his whole vibe the whole time. It's like bah with the bah, the bang, the dang, smoke with crack, crack. It's like, you know, like it was always like do drugs, fuck chicks, like that. You know, that was like the whole like industry like that they were pushing with Eminem and Kid Rock. It's like make a bunch of white kids want to be like gangsters and stuff, you know, and like want to like smoke hard drug. Like I don't know. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's probably what their whole role was from the beginning, was to make like suburban white kids just want to overdose on drugs. It's like even now, like I made music that was said stuff when I was younger. I feel like ashamed of it now, where it's like I don't, you know, I don't like hate myself for it, but I try to I really think about the music I make now, and it's like I feel bad that like I was caught in that spell in my 20s, you know. I deleted a song off of like, it was one of my biggest songs. It was called Faded. I deleted it off Spotify. So many people text me like, where's that song? That's my favorite song. It's kind of it's a super degenerate song. I'm not saying like I'm perfect now, but I just don't feel comfortable pushing it out. I'm going to read some comments, but yeah, that's the show for today. Mostly I just want to talk about that, but it's like, support your side of the war, but please do not talk about killing civilians. I mean, it's disgusting. And especially in this world, like this is one of the more wholesome messages you're going to get, because I don't think tribalism is necessarily bad. Obviously, they smear nationalism. I don't think it's bad to love your country. I don't think it's bad to, you know, have preferences with certain things. Like everybody has certain preferences, but in general, you know, I don't think you should hate anybody. Like, I don't think you should hate Israelis. I don't think you should hate Palestinians. I don't think you should hate Russians. I don't think you should hate Ukrainians. It's not Ukraine's fault that Zelensky's there. I mean, they voted for him, but that it's like, who knows what the election was even really like? You shouldn't hate anybody. There's good and bad people all over the world, and there's a lot of great souls everywhere. So we should know by now, sorry, I have an itch, especially in the Republican atmosphere, or American atmosphere rather, that we're not in control. If it's Biden versus Romney, or Obama versus Romney, or Obama versus McCain, it does like it, your vote doesn't really matter that much. It matters for like judges. It matters for like Supreme Court. Everything else, it actually literally doesn't matter. The foreign policy is going to be the same. The domestic policy is going to be the same. Even the Obama healthcare, Jimmy Dore points this out all the time. It was a Romney repackaging. Romney and Obama, there's no difference. But those are your two choices. So if that's the greatest country in the world, why should you hate Palestine or Israel or Russia or Ukraine or anywhere? You think they can control that? There's good people in Israel. There's good people in Palestine. There's good people in Ukraine. There's good people in Russia. The last thing you should want to do is kill tens of thousands of civilians in any country because their government's not doing what they want, what you want them to do. You can't even get your own government to do what you want to do. How the hell are they going to get it to do that? It's not Russia's fault that Putin's there. And it's not Ukraine's fault that Zelensky's there. And even if you think it is their fault that they are there, it doesn't mean that they're bad people in those countries. And it's the same with Israel and Palestine. So I'm disgusted by anyone. I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, blocking traffic, throwing things at the Mona Lisa, left wing psychopaths, right wing psychopaths, Kid Rock, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend. It's like, right is right and wrong is wrong. Good is good and evil is evil. Like killing civilians is like an insane thing to say. I'm just glad he said it, because most people are pretending like they're not trying to kill civilians. So he's just like, just kill more civilians. It's like, are you serious, bro? And it's like, this is why I'm free. Republicans, not all of them, but most of them, they're not free. They're free to criticize the left. That's why they criticize the left all the time. They're not actually free. They're not able to say certain things or do certain things. They're controlled by their social circles. They're controlled by their money. They're controlled by their sponsors. They're controlled by the lobbyists. These all exist on the right wing. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Their whole aura is to make you think that only the left is doing that, because if you think only the left is doing that, you never realize that the right's doing it too. That's their whole job. I don't envy these people. I don't want to be these people, but they're not free. You'll know who's free based on how they talk and what they report, but it's like I don't pay attention to Republican podcasters anymore because it's all controlled opposition. It's all like, look at the left. Oh, it's like, okay, who's funding them? Who promoted that? Who, like, it's all stupid. Someone said Republicans are just showboaters. Well, I don't know what they're doing, but now it's just a MAGA economy. Like you know, loyalty in the Republican Party is no longer, and I'm not saying it ever was any better. It's not like I think it was better during the McCain era. It's just like Republican loyalty is not seeing how loyal you are to God, is not seeing how loyal you are to your country or to your family or to the truth. Loyalty in America, I mean, in the Republican world right now, is how far down your throat are Donald Trump's ball sack. So if you're Kid Rock or John Daly or any of these people, it's like, since Trump's balls are down your throat, you're loyal now. And people love you just because you just say, I like Trump. You know, like you don't have like interesting or intelligent analysis. Like, I just like the guy because he's not the left. And it's like, that's, you know, but then if they say they want to kill civilians, no one's going to talk about it. They're just going to be like, that's my guy. And it's like, you know, it's like, that's what we're doing. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I think. So it's creating like anybody can rise the ranks in the Republican world now. It, you know, people will say, oh, it's so much better than it was. Like, it's better than it was 15 years ago, I think, maybe, but like, it's not better than it was 3 years ago. If you look at all the people now that like get all the opportunities, they're way worse than they were 3 years ago. Any opportunist, any scumbag, all they have to do is gargle on your boys. You know who's nuts. And that's what gets you the gigs. Like you're actually penalized for being like smart and honest. It's like, just be loyal to one guy and not reality. It's like loyal to America is like you calling out mandates in 2019 and 2020 and telling people, if you comply, these will last longer. The only way to end the mandates is for people to peacefully and legally not comply. So if you're a Republican saying your loyalties to Trump and his vaccine and blah, 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 it's like your loyalty is to Satan. It's not to like me or the country or God. Like, you know, it's like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like that. To me, that's the ultimate controlled opposition. Mandates are coming in. We know they're going to abuse them. Democrats are doing them, and Republicans are trying to get us to comply so the compliance rate is high enough so they work. It's good cop, bad cop. They're just as complicit. And the solution is people figuring this out, because when people figure this out, that's when it ends. That's when it's like, okay, it's not going to work anymore. Someone said the same people hiding the Epstein thing are pushing money to Ukraine. I'm not disagreeing, but it's like when you figure out all that stuff, you'll figure out that Donald Trump is doing the dirty work of those same people. And if you can't figure that out, then you're not honest or smart enough to get any results. So your opinion doesn't matter. Like, it's all there waiting for you to research it. And if you block it out, then you're just like 5 layers below where you need to be, or above where you need to be. Do the Huckabee Sanders voice. Here, we'll put it back on the screen again. Hold on a second. Kid Rock said, if the vaccine was the worst thing I've ever put in my body, I probably would not have got it. Kid Rock. So when the vaccines were rolling out, he was saying, I put way worse stuff in my body, so I'll get the vaccine. And I'm sure he probably thought because Trump did it that it was like better or something. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders said, we'll wait for her thing to pop up. Howdy, y'all. Sarah Sanders urges the Trump vaccine to combat low vaccination rates. Yucca, yucca, yucca. Howdy, patriots. I sound just like you. Go get your vaccine so the Democrats can enslave you for years to come. And it's hateful if you make fun of me, but it's not hateful when I tell you to get a COVID vaccine. Yucca. Howdy, y'all. It's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Go get your controlled opposition vaccine. I mean, mandates are coming in, and I disagree with them, but I want you to get vaccinated, because if 80% of people in the South get vaccinated, then the mandates will work, and then you're enslaved forever, but I'm your friend. Yucca, yucca, yucca. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm so excited about our party. It's like, what makes her good? Because she stood on a stage and just like repeated what Trump said. Like, now I'm supposed to be impressed by her. These people are good cop, bad cop. The only way to beat the left is to give $100 billion to the vaccine industry, and then we'll never talk about side effects because we're in on it, but you guys can't figure that out. It's like, cool. Someone said, like the Cat Turd show where they worship Trump for an hour. If you want to lose 15 IQ points, listen to Cat Turd. You know, your IQ will drop. I guarantee you could probably do an experiment. If you listen to Cat Turd every day, in 2 years, you'll probably be like certified. Like, you know, they'll probably try to put you on medication because they're like, dude, something's going on. Mark Esposito said, how do we know you're not controlled opposition? I mean, you could think whatever you want, but just listen to the information, hear what I say, and just tell the truth to yourself. I don't care if you watch my channel 5 times or 1,000 times, like, listen to what I say and consider it. And that's all I care. I don't care what you think or what you know, like, just tell the truth to yourself. If you know the truth, me, anyone else, like, no one can lie to you. No one can trick you. If you're honest with yourself, you'll be able to figure out what's what and who's who. You know, but I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think. It's whatever. Did you guys see the video of like Javier Milei like hugging Trump? Dude, I can't tell who does more cocaine, Hunter Biden or Javier Milei. That dude is like, he acts like he drinks 5 Monster Energy drinks and like 3 Celsius a day. He's like hugging Trump. He's like, and Trump's like, yo, get off me. Like, can you stop doing that? Like, he was acting like a dog. And then he was at the Wailing Wall in Israel and he's like crying. He's like, it's like, yo, are you all right, bro? Like, dude, worship the wall, show your love, wear the little hat like every politician does if you want. But like, go watch the video of Javier Milei. He's like crying like he just did like an 1/8 of blow, like in the bathroom. He's like, yo, can I piss real quick? It's like, do you really have to pee or are you just doing blow again? Like, you know, the dude is weird, like, you know, and he's going to give his country to the West. I don't believe that he's like an outsider whatsoever. I think he's a total phony. The lady in Israel, total phony. Geert Wilders, total phony. They're all globalists. They just talk about globalists while literally working for globalists. Like, they're not, they're false opposition, but it's fine. He's like, Trump. Oh my God. And like, Trump's like, listen, Javier. He's like, get off me, weirdo. And then like Javier Milei walks away and Trump's like, okay, can we put some hand sanitizer on my suit? Like, he acts like a dog that was abused or something, where he's just like freaking out all the time. And you're like, dude, calm down, bro. It's like, I mean, be excited. It's one thing to be excited. It's one thing to be like on cocaine. Someone said Milei is better than Wilders Trump. He's been there for 2 weeks. I mean, I don't think he's going to be better. And I mean, I don't know how bad Argentina was and who was leading it, but he's not better than them. I mean, maybe like domestically he'll do more stuff, but it's like, if you work for the globalists, but like, it's not going to end good. It's going to be like 3 years of Donald Trump being a nationalist, and then he closes the country down and runs around and sells vaccines. You know, it's like, oh, whoa, we almost won, but we just lost her hysterically. It's like, because they're not working for you. I like Bukele. Yeah. I mean, that guy, in my opinion, is the best leader in the world. You know, I don't know what his foreign policy is, but he cleaned up the crime in El Salvador. That's one of the best accomplishments in modern history. As far as Milei, I don't know. Let's look in a year or two. He's definitely cut some red tape in his country, and I'm not like unimpressed with this, but I don't really like what he did to his currency, to be honest. I don't like, he's imploding his currency and putting it on the US dollar and then crying hysterically in Israel and like hanging out in America and Israel all the time. It feels like he's just giving us his country, which is fine. I'll take it. You know, like the more petrodollars we have, the richer I am. So I don't really care. I'm an American. So I'm not mad he's giving his country to America, but I don't know how that's going to work for Argentina. Like, I don't know that I'd like want that if I was in Argentina, but we'll see. You know, we'll see how is making your country reliant on the US petrodollar libertarian. That's insane to me. Like, I'm not hating on the guy as far as like, we'll see how he does, but he literally like imploded his currency. Inflation went through the roof. And then he said he's switching to the US dollar, which is the ultimate like inflation, made up currency. That's good, but also that's not a threat to the globalists. The people that are a threat to the globalists are people who try to like make their own currency and get away from the central banks and the foreign policy. Those are the real threats to America. Like look at who America hates. That's who's not trying to do banking with us. That's who's trying to make their own currency. That's who's trying to not follow the policy and foreign policy. One of those three things. I'm not saying all of them, but like those three things, they're doing one of them if America hates them. Argentina, giving America your country is not a threat to the globalists. Like how, I don't know. Am I wrong? Like how, what type of outsider just implodes their currency and gives it to the US petrodollar? Is not an outsider, but I like it. I'm not like anti-petrodollar. I mean, everyone could be like, we want the petrodollar to explode. It's like, why? So we can all be poor and have like a revolution. I'll pass. Like, I don't want to be poor. Everybody says they want the petrodollar to implode until the petrodollar implodes. And then bread cost $1 million and everybody's like dying. Like, I don't want my currency to fail. So I'm glad that Javier Milei's a sellout and he gave his country to America. I appreciate him handing his entire nation on a platter to us. I'll take it. I'll take a boost in the currency. Maybe the stock market will go up or something. I don't. It's just like, I don't care. Like if people like Milei though, I don't care. It's like time will tell all. I just know the signs of somebody who's not like taking on the establishment, but we'll see. And he just looks like a coke addict. I don't know. I can't get over like the comedy of him just always. Google the video of him like at the wall in Israel. He's literally like bawling his eyes, crying like hysterically with a little hat on his head. I'm glad he's passionate, but like, I don't know. I just feel like he does cocaine. I don't think that's like a natural emotion. Like, I don't know. I mean, Argentina, it's near Colombia, so I'm sure whatever he's getting is the good stuff, but I do not co-sign it. Someone said we need the petrodollar to be on top. I mean, it helps Americans at the moment. It's not the most ethical currency, but I don't want it to implode. People are like, let it implode with Bitcoin. It's like, good luck to Bitcoin, but I don't see it. Thank you, St. Louis Ito. Appreciate it. Someone said, I think I don't know what that word is, so I don't want to read it because maybe it's really offensive, but I don't even know what it means. Your repetitive shot is patchy. Want to have a real conversation? My repetitive shot is patchy. Do I want to have a real conversation? I don't. What do you mean? Are you the real conversation? If I don't talk to you, nothing's real. Talk to me to get it real. Until then, it's all fake. Okay. As the petrodollar implodes, the Bitcoin explodes. Checkmate. See, I don't know if that's true because when the American stock market goes down, the Bitcoin goes down. Like when the stock market imploded, Bitcoin imploded. And then when the stock market goes up, Bitcoin goes up. I'm not saying they're directly connected, but it's like when people don't have money, they're not buying Bitcoin and then it goes down. And when people have money, excess money, they buy Bitcoin and it goes up. Nobody, when you're broke, has money for Bitcoin. Like when people are broke, they start selling their coins and then the coin goes down. So there's a direct relation. Like if you look at the algorithm of Bitcoin, people don't know this, or a lot of people don't know. It's probably the crypto people know it, but it's a direct, I don't know the exact equation, but it's like how much is invested in the coin divided by how many coins there are. I believe that's how you get the price. It's like how much is in the net worth or whatever they call that. What's it called? Market cap. How much is the market cap? How many coins are there total? If there's a finite amount or not. And then like they divide the number. I'm pretty sure that's how you get the number of Bitcoin. So it's like the more money invested in Bitcoin, the higher the price goes. when no one has money, it's like people don't buy Bitcoin with Bitcoin, and they don't buy Bitcoin with rocks or shells that they found on the beach. They buy Bitcoin with US petrodollars or their currency. And when the economies are bad in the world, then Bitcoin goes down. It's not like it goes up drastically when American economy goes down. I study all this stuff because I try to invest, but I'm not the best at it. I'm okay though. 21 million Bitcoin. Do the equation. Divide the Bitcoin by the market cap. See what number comes up, or vice versa. Someone said Bud Light promoted the sexualization of kids and never apologized. They don't respect MAGA or Trump supporters or conservatives, so they don't have to apologize. They apologize to Dana White's bank account. They apologized to Donald Trump in a donor meeting. They did apologize to Trump and Dana, and they think that MAGA and conservatives and Republicans are that easy to control. So just like the original boycott was like a message to, them, send a message to these people that you're not that easy to control, because they don't feel like they have to apologize, because they apologized to Dana White's bank account. And then Dana White told you that you don't deserve an apology. I watched the video. He goes, "You're not getting an apology. You're not getting an apology," said Dana White. I like Dana White. I think he's the best sports CEO in modern history. I enjoy listening to his UFC takes. I'm a big UFC fan. That's so arrogant to take $100 million deal from Bud Light, put yourself in their commercials, and then tell Bud Light protesters that you're not getting an apology, because his bank account got an apology. It's like these people are so douchey. They're like, "I got paid, so now shut up." Dude, that's so crazy. Could you imagine if I took $100 million from Bud Light and I'm like, you guys are not getting an apology. Shut up. You're done. It's like, are you serious? Like, it's so gross. Someone said Trump's second term lockdowns will be better than ever. Well, I hope he doesn't lock down. I wish him the best, but I don't know. When you see how the system works, I'm not pessimistic, but it's like I know how the game works. Like, I guarantee you at this point, Geert Wilders, the lady in Italy, Maloney or whatever her name is, like Javier Milei, they're all playing ball. You almost like, I'm not going to say I respect the globalists, because I don't, but they're so good at what they do. Like, they're like, okay, nationalism's rising. We have to control the nationalists, because it's like, it's easy to control all the liberals, but people aren't voting for liberals. Like, Dutch is tired of it. Like, people are tired of it. So then they control the opposition. It's like, oh, they want a libertarian or a conservative. Well, let's control the conservative in their world. So then we, dude, they're controlling everything. It's like fascinating. I'm like, they're so good at just tricking people, and people are too dumb to figure it out. It's very fascinating. It's like, they're thinking 20 steps ahead. They're like, we know the rise of nationalism's coming because we've screwed over the left, so we have to control the rise of nationalism. Trump, Maloney, David Icke talks about this. I'm not co-signing everything he says. I'm not him. We don't agree on everything, but it's like he's now that he has a Twitter account again, he's like, he calls them like the darlings of like mainstream alternative media or something. He has a name for it, but like, he's right about that. I mean, I'm not saying everything he says is right, but he gets it. It's like, they're not at all outsiders in any sense of the word. Like, maybe outsiders domestically, sort of, but like, when it comes to the global agenda that they claim that they're against, they're playing total ball. Someone said, but I'm not afraid of it. I'm just like observing. If people figure this stuff out, which they are, it is happening slowly but surely. Like, that's how I think it ends. Like, when people realize this stuff, then it's like harder to do. But if you're like, oh my God, like I follow some libertarian accounts that are like, Milei is, oh my gosh. And it's like, whatever, Someone said, when Islam becomes a majority here in America, freedom returns. Till then, enjoy your tyranny. I'm atheist, by the way. I mean, I want to talk about this because I've had this conversation with my Christian friends. The reason Islam is so trendy now, like if you go to like right-wing streamers and stuff like Andrew Tate and Sneeko, they're all becoming Muslims. And people are like, why are they becoming Muslims? Like, why not Christian? You know, if they're coming back to God, like why are they doing the Islam thing? And the reason is because as a Christian, I'm saying this, Christians in America, most churches, most leaders, they're all sold out. Trump, all the Christian pastors, like there's no real leaders. They're all sold out. They all have the same foreign policy. They're all selling their own people out. They're all advocating for killing Christians in other countries. They all won't tell you that their greatest ally are the ones funding the Armenian genocide that's about to happen. Like our ally are funding that all the Christians worship. So the reason that it's becoming more trendy to be Muslim than Christian in a lot of these right-wing streamer circles is because like Muslims still in some countries, not all, they still actually do like traditionalism harder. Like they're not buying into feminism. They're not completely sold out to Zionism. And that's becoming more trendy to the youth. Like, I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but it's like Christians don't have a role model in this country because they're all sold out and pathetic. So it's like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, Islam's taking over England. Of course, like white people and Christians are like doing nothing and like they're not paying attention and they're like liberal and the conservatives are fake and weak people get conquered. It's happened all the time. You know, people talk about, why did this happen? Well, I don't know. Someone made a mistake and they got conquered. That's happening in England. That's happening in the, you know, in other places in the world. And it's like Islam is more conservative than most conservatives. So it's like when they get a majority, it's not going to be the England you remember, and you might not like it, and crime might be higher. But that'll probably be the quickest route back to conservatism because Christians are doing nothing. Like it's so weird. They're like Christians in America are literally telling you to worship the people that are funding the Muslims that are killing Armenians. Like that's what Christians in America do. They're like, worship this country as we pass speech laws for this country and don't criticize this country ever because they're your heroes, even though they're funding Muslims to kill Armenians right now, but we won't talk about it. It's like, ew. So the kids are seeing this and they're like, wow, Christian leaders are pathetic. White leaders are pathetic. Christian whites, are, you know, and other nationalities of Christianity are like pathetic in America. So then they want to join Islam because they're like, oh, they're actually conservative. They don't buy into feminism. They're more close to biblical values than even Christian leaders are. And then Christian leaders are just like, yeah, give money to Ukraine and Israel and don't question anything. And we'll pass speech laws. And it's like so pathetic. So I don't want Islam to take over America or the world or whatever, but it's like, it's got a better chance at this point than Christianity because Christians have barely any real leaders left. Like Trump is not a real Christian leader. Trump is literally selling out Christians in every sense of the word. DeSantis is selling out Christians. Youngkin's selling out Christians. They all are. They're the fakest, most disgusting, and people love it. You know what I'm saying? Their base is obsessed with it. So it's like, I guess that's the path you want to go to. You know, if people can wake up, which some are, then Christianity can have a real, name a country that's Christian still. They're all in Eastern Europe or Africa. And every Christian nation that's still Christian, America, including Republicans, are trying to make them more liberal. That's what they're doing. Russia's probably the strongest Christian country left in Eastern Europe, and we want to fight them. Since we've gotten into Ukraine and funneled our money into Ukraine, Ukraine's just gotten more liberal and less Christian. And as they're getting Christians killed in a war that they can't win, you know, all these tiny Eastern European countries that no one can even pronounce, that's where a Christian country is still Christian. The West, it's not Christian. America's not Christian. You know, it's Christians in America and the West are funding the destruction of Christianity. Christians in the West are funding countries that don't care about it. It's insanely pathetic. So I'm not asking the kids to be Muslim. I just understand why these streamers and people that watch Andrew Tate and stuff like that, they're more interested in converting to Islam than they are to converting to Christianity, because Christian leaders are pathetic. And the best you could get is Trump, who passes speech laws for a foreign country and another religion, is Trump, who says that another country should literally own Congress, the same country that's funding the Muslims that are killing Christians in Armenia. It's like Christians don't even realize how brainwashed they are. And Republicans, they don't want to admit that they're brainwashed because they know that the left is brainwashed. So it's like, I see why the trends are going in the way they're going. And it's like, it's so weird to me. And this newfound, I think, like, obviously, like, the end times is the end times if you're a Christian, but this new, like, oh, we're going to get persecuted. It's like, that's not, obviously, like, at some point that's true. And if you tell the truth, it's always been like edgy in reality. But do people realize that there's been like thousands of years of Christianity and they didn't just sit there and be like, oh, we're going to get conquered because it says so? Like, not everybody was like saying, oh, this is the end times. Like, the end times are the end times. It's not always the end. And Christians for thousands of years have defended themselves. They didn't just sit there and say, oh, we're supposed to get conquered now because that's what our book says. Why didn't they do that? They could have got conquered 15 times in the last 1,000 years, but Christians weren't like complete pushovers. They were like, no, it's not the end times. We're not getting pushed over right now. We want to control our country. It's not like, here's our country, persecute us. This is what the book says. Like, that they could have done that in 1500s. They could have done that in the thousands. They could have done that in the 1700s, the 1800s. Like, Christians never did that. They got brainwashed in the 1900s to just roll over and lose everything and say that that's how it's supposed to be. It's like, that's not necessary. Like, in the country, there's countries all around the world now that are going back in the right direction. It's just not America. I mean, in some ways our culture is starting to shift, but we don't have real leaders. We have opposition that's completely controlled. Like, they've chosen the leaders, and it works. Like, the Bud Light thing is a small microcosm that I don't care much about, but that's how it works. It's like, you're controlled by Trump and Dana White, or they think you are. So they give the money to Trump and Dana White and then tell Trump and Dana White to switch your brains. Like, you like Lindsey Graham, or, it's the Trump vaccine. Like, they're controlling the leaders, or at least to try to make people think like it's okay. Cause they're making, like, at the end of the day, someone said, how do I know you're not controlled opposition anomaly? I'm not out here begging for your trust or support or anything. It's just like, if you like what I say, I appreciate it. But I want you to critically think, not just about other people's stuff, but about my stuff as well. And it's like, I don't care what religion you are, but if you're a Christian, your job is to not be like easily tricked by worldly figures, because the media is going to try to trick you. The pharmaceutical industry is going to try to trick you. Politics is going to try to trick you. They're going to try to fake out the opposition and stuff. So it's your job to be like disciplined, or at least have good discernment. And the closer you are to that, then you won't get tricked, because there's going to be a lot of trickery going on. So it's like, that's for some reason in this country, most of the Christians and conservatives, they don't have any real stances. They're idol worshiping like sports fans. It's like pathetic. That's why all the kids want to be Muslim instead of Christian. It's like, they look at their Christian like adults and they're like, these people are pathetic. These people are getting conquered because they're so weak. And then you're like, MAGA. And it's like, well, what, whether you vote for Trump or Biden or whoever, but hopefully more conservative. But it's just like, do you have like your own, like, if the Republican Party funnels $100 billion to the pharmaceutical industry, like, are you cool with that? Why? Are you really cool? Well, I'm cool with that because I like the guy who did it, and I don't think I just like the guy. It's like, that sounds like a really dumb man, that like can't think straight. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for blaming the boomers for Kid Rock. Apparently he's Gen X or something, but like, he's probably not that old. So I apologize for blaming boomers for Kid Rock. I have a knack of doing that. It's my condolences. Someone said, no, it's not okay. No, I know that, but 95% of conservative influencers make excuses for things they don't believe when a character does something, which means you're not like a real person. You're not a real thinker. You're not like a real man. You're not a real leader. You're just like a nothing, and that's like, that's what bothered me the most about the last couple of years, because I didn't realize this, but I was like, no one pays, like, everyone's just like a little boy fan of like a guy, and they'll like twist their brain to make excuses for things they don't actually believe. And that's how you get conquered. When people are like, no, then it's like, oh, okay, we got to like respect these people. They don't respect people. And the truth is, and I'm not innocent of this either, but it's like, quote unquote white people and Christians have been getting stomped on for the last 15 years in the press because these groups don't like care. They're just easy to bully and nobody says anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the bullying happens and we're not victims of bullying. I don't feel like oppressed or anything. It's just like that's what happens when a group of people is just like a rollover, where it's like, what's going to happen to America? I don't know at this point. Like, I'm not saying like Christians have no chance in America, but it's like the opposition's controlled. Nobody seems to care. All the leaders in the churches are fake. Like I'm not saying it can't turn around, but like, it's not, if I was like an analyst, I'm like, it's not looking good, but the trends are moving back in the right direction. So you do see that, which is like a good sign, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know when people lost their conviction or like I'm not Gen Y. I'm a millennial. So that's what I am, but it's fine. Someone said there are religious leaders. President isn't supposed to be a religious leader. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but even the religious leaders at this point are pretty watered down and sold out. I mean, there's a few good ones out there, but for the most part, the mainstream ones, I get how it all works though. Like it's all a money thing. It's like if you tell the truth, it's hard to get big money behind you. If you're willing to push a certain agenda through the guys, like, it's $1 billion industry. So it's hard for the good Christian leaders to get out there because all the phony ones are the ones who get the funding and the promotion and the sponsorships to get out there. And that's how they get out there. It's like, will you push this version of Christianity that does what we want? And then it's like, okay, well then you get out there. And then if you don't, the power of the press works against you. Instead of like elevating you, it kind of like pulls you back. So it's all interesting, but I just wanted to talk about the trend of like, because I talked to my one buddy and he was like, he watches more streamers like people like Tate and Sneeko and stuff. Like it's a huge world and they have perhaps even more youth watching them than even like Republicans. Like that world, it's right wing sort of, but it's like it's not political really, but it is. It's like gaming meets culture meets like streaming. There's a whole like world that a lot of people aren't even aware of, but like it's like Minecraft. Like I don't play Minecraft. I know nothing about it, but like hundreds of millions of people play Minecraft. Like it's like a huge thing that like kids are doing that I just have no idea about. But streamers, it's becoming like way more cool to be like Muslim or convert to Muslim than it is to Christianity. But I just think I know why that is. It's because they feel like that Islam is less watered down and there's still Islamic nations that try to hang on to like God's word and actually like unapologetically stay super conservative. And that's more appealing to somebody that wants that than like a Christian Republican waving a gay flag and being like, Africa is criminalizing homosexuality. We need to make sure more sodomy goes on there. And it's like, like to the kids that are not wanting to be left wing, they find it more cool to like not do that. They're like, that's not it. Someone said Islam is an authoritarian system. I don't disagree with you, I guess, if you put it on a political scale. I'm just like, I try to figure out like why and how things are happening. Like the fact, like whether it's authoritarian or not, it's for your perspective, but it's like, why is it happening? And if you don't want it to happen, then it's like, you got to figure out why it's happening and then kind of like, provide a solution versus just like seeing it and not knowing what to do. Someone said it's because you can be unapologetically based as a Muslim. 1,000%. If you say you're a Muslim, you could pretty much say any edgy right-wing talking point and they like it. If you're a Christian Republican MAGA and you say edgy right-wing things, they hate it. Like you're only allowed to say like the election was stolen or like, oh my gosh, Alvin Bragg's corrupt. But if you have like other opinions as a right-wing Christian conservative Trump supporter, the right-wing press, like that's why they're just identifying as Muslim, because they're like, I'm protected. Like now I could say anything. Like, if you were like a conservative man in the Christian, MAGA world, and you were like, I think it was better when women didn't vote, because it's not that I hate women, but I think that politics is stressful. And, I think women, they don't need to like work and do politics all the time. Not because I hate them or think that they can't, but like it's part of the feminist agenda to, like they sent the men off to war, they put the women in the workforce, they take the kids out of the household, and then they put them in school. And, now you have like female bodyguards that are getting like their asses kicked because they're women, and the same reason they'd lose an MMA fight to a man. And the same reason you don't want trans kids to play sports with your kids is because everyone has identified that a biologically born man is just physically stronger than a woman. So why would she be like a bodyguard? When, if you said that as a Christian conservative, you would have all these like fake conservative feminists in politics being like, oh my gosh, like they don't believe in me, I want to work. And it's like, okay, I didn't say you can't work. But like, if you just said that as a Muslim, they're like, no, we get it. That's what we do in like half of the countries that we run, so there aren't really Christian countries that do that. But in the past, in a Catholic country, like you couldn't stay at a hotel with a woman that wasn't your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like these are not just Islamic policies. These were Christian policies. And I know a lot of people in the comments will probably be like either libertarian or women that are upset by that. I'm just saying like that's why the kids would rather be Muslim, because they're like, oh, I could say this and it's like normal, versus in like conservative circles, they're like liberal feminists, like MAGA's like a liberal socialist idol worship movement. Trump, he didn't govern conservatively. He governed like a socialist. He printed money. He expanded government. He renewed the Patriot Act. He created a whole new version of the government called Space Force. He gave tens of billions of dollars to the pharmaceutical industry. He printed trillions of dollars. He imploded the economy. Saying Trump is a socialist is being nice. He's borderline a communist. And saying he's a conservative is kind of, but he's also like a liberal. He did prison reform. He's waving the gay flag. Like Trump is like a liberal socialist cosplaying as a super conservative Christian, and Christians eat it up. So it's like the kids that don't want that, they're like, yeah, I'll just be Muslim. Like it's easier to identify as that. And then I can speak to people that aren't completely pathetic and they understand what I'm talking about. Like, I don't care who does what, but it's like, even in I think in the Bible, it says that women shouldn't be pastors, where I don't know the exact verse, but it's not like a hateful thing. It's like, to me, I think women are great at a lot of stuff and I think they can do what they want, but it's just like saying like, this is why I don't listen to a lot of like conservative Christian podcasts who like, they just talk about like trans bathrooms all the time, where it's like, that's like an obvious one. You know what I'm saying? Like men shouldn't play women's sports. That's obvious. You shouldn't transgender like a 7-year-old. Obvious. You shouldn't push sexuality and gay sex on a 10-year-old. Obvious. These are all ethical things that I agree with, but that's all the right wing can do, because they're also liberal feminists and socialists that are pretending to be like capitalists. So someone said, you lost me. Well, I'm going to keep going. So I might lose you further. It's like, that's an obvious thing, but it's like, if a woman shouldn't play in a guy's sport, then why are they doing all these man jobs? You know what I'm saying? Is there other jobs that men are better at? Because like, every time I see like an old guy that's like 7 years old as a bodyguard, it's like, I don't hate old people, but it's like, what is that guy going to do? Like they're just desperate nobody wants to work anymore. So they just hire some old fat dude that's like a bodyguard. And it's like, dude, anybody could rob that guy. Like he can't even get up. He's fat and old. Like, and then you see like a woman bodyguard who gets her ass kicked, or a woman cop. And it's like, if a man shouldn't play your daughter in a basketball game, why should a woman do that job as an adult when it's a physical job that it requires like fighting and grabbing people and arresting them? Like it doesn't make sense to me to have women cops or women bodyguards or even like women military members unless they play a certain role, in my opinion. It's not because I hate women. It's just like, someone said, you're losing us. Like, why not? Then why not have trans sports then? What's the difference? Why not have women's and men's MMA? If a woman cop will have an as easy time arresting a man, why don't we put Mackenzie Dern against Charles Oliveira in MMA? Why not? It's no difference. She could probably do jiu-jitsu on Oliveira. No, because she'd get smoked in 5 seconds by any man fighter. They punch harder. They punch faster. Their skill set's higher, not completely higher, but it's like, yeah, a man who doesn't do jujitsu would lose a fight maybe to a woman who knows jujitsu. But like, it's, this is like, it's the same thing as trans sports at an older level. Just like I can't give birth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a birthing man. Like, I can't give birth. Is that hateful? No, I can't do that. And there's certain jobs that I would do worse. I think women have, on average, different pros and cons. It's not saying like there's no anomalies in this world, but like, we've normalized feminism. Conservatives are socialist, communist, feminist, liberals, in my opinion. It's like Trump is like a feminist, communist, liberal, socialist. How's he picking his vice president? Is he picking his vice president by merit? Did Trump say, I'm going to pick the best person to run under me because they're one heartbeat away from the president? Did Trump come out and say that? Did he say, I'm going to pick the most qualified human being in America to be my vice president? No. You know what his team said a bunch of times? They want a woman or a minority. They've said that multiple times. They're going to pick a woman or a minority. Why? Are they the best person? If they're the best person, you don't have to announce that you're going to pick a woman or a minority. It's like if I make a song with my black friend, I'm not like, my next song is going to be with a black man or a minority. It's like, no, I just collab with my black friends because they're good rappers. And, sometimes I collab with my white friends because they're good rappers or singers or producers. It's not, you don't see me make an announcement like my next song is going to be with a woman and then I'm going to do one with a black minority. It's like, that's weird. I have collaborations with like multiple races, but it's not I didn't choose them because they were a minority. That's very like condescending and demeaning. I'm not like Bryson Gray, let's do a song so we can do a white black man song. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, unless that's the theme of the song or something, but it's like, no, it's just like, yo, let's do the song. I like your music, or we could make a cool collab. But that's what Republicans are. So all of these Republican shows, they're just like taking the lowest hanging fruit and the craziest things happening and being like, look at that. Yes, it's crazy to give a 8-year-old hormone pills. Absolutely. It deserves to be talked about. It isn't insane. But it's like, can you get to the root of the problem? They can't. That's why the kids want to be Muslim, because they're getting to the root of the problem. They're being feminism is all bad, not just the third wave of it, the whole thing. And a lot of Christians believe that too. They just don't want to say it. It's not like a restrictive thing. It's just like, it's like saying like fat is not ideal. And then people saying you hate fat people. It's like, it doesn't, no, it's just like, if you could choose, it's better to be in shape because it's like, feels better, but on average, but it doesn't mean you're bad if you're fat. And it doesn't mean you're good if you're skinny. There's a lot of terrible people that are fit, it's just like, that's reality. That's nature. That's like obvious common sense. Oh no, I dropped I guess my coffee's done, but oh well. Someone said when I was 28, they couldn't give me something. Now 11-year-old girls get it. What are you talking about? Testosterone? Oh yeah, testosterone. I think you said. Where's my gold chain? I'm not at that level of Italian. I'm going to Italian aesthetic max soon. I'm going to get a few gold chains and just act super Italian. So I'm not there yet, but I'll get there. Testosterone. Yeah, I got you. No, it's crazy, but like, that's why, like, I don't know. Let me know that people are saying I sound crazy. Some people got it. Like, do women make good bodyguards? Do women make good police officers? I'm not saying they're terrible, but like, I've watched so many videos of just like women just getting like beaten up. Then like it's like, there was this one video on Twitter of this crazy Russian like maniac murderer who was in this, like, he was such a nut that they put him in this little like room. Like, he was like one of those like like crazy psychopaths where you're like, yo, this guy's fucked up. This guy needs to go away forever. Like, he's a menace to society. Some crazy Russian looking dude, bald dude. And the bodyguard, they had this tiny chick as like the bodyguard. Yo, and this guy starts crawling through the he like somehow broke out of the thing that he was in and like got through the roof ceiling And there's like a woman sitting there that's like, what do I do? It's like, yo, like if you got a crazy fucking, excuse my language, psycho Russian, like, shouldn't you have some really physically fit guys there to like make sure they can like stop this guy? You know, like guys ran, but it was like they had like a one woman watching him at first, and he almost escaped. It's crazy. It's like, but then you're a bad person if you say that's not like a good idea. And like, why did the Bible say there should be no female pastors? Like, there's probably a reason for it. It's not like, oh, we hate women, but it's like in leadership positions of that type, like, you know, they just preferred men. And I personally think, and I mean, I'm not, you know, I have my own flaws and stuff to work on. I'm not like a perfect human being by any means, but I am saying that like in this country, more women than liberals suffer from feminism. Like guys know that, like, you know, there's always jokes among guys where they're like, go to Eastern Europe and get like a woman that's actually like godly and like can like play her role. Because everybody knows American women, although there's a lot of gorgeous women here, they're all almost suffering from feminism. Not all, but like most of them, where it's like even all these conservative women, look at like TPUSA and stuff. It's like they're basically just using women that are hot to like sell tickets. And they're just like, I'm going to be hot and I'm going to yell and talk a lot. And it's like, you know, that's like still feminism. It's just right-wing feminism, conservative feminism. So it's like, you know, I'll dunk on guys after, because I'm not saying like American guys are perfect. Like there's a lot of losers here too, but it's just like among the women, like so many conservative women, they want to be professionals. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to talk. It's like, and like most guys of high value are like, you're doing too much, you know? And they're like, I want to do this. It's like, well, yeah. Okay. Well, that's why things are not going to work. So it's like, you know, there's still a lot of parts in the world where women realize that that's not like the ideal relationship or how they should act. But in America, we're at like fourth wave feminism, where the best that Republicans can do is dunk on like third wave feminism while they're doing second wave feminism. You know, like real feminism would, or like real conservatism would be like, all right, this is enough of all this. It's like, but you just have like Maria Bartiromo like yelling, saying, wah, wah, wah. It's like, maybe that's why the Bible said that only men should be pastors, because they knew that it was going to be like Maria Bartiromo on Fox News, like trap. Wah, wah, wah. She sounds like a bird, you know? It's like, that's conservatism. That's the remedy to feminism. Is like Maria Bartiromo squawking like a bird. I can't even listen to her. She's not wrong about a lot of stuff. She just literally sounds like a bird and just screams, and it's just like hurts my eardrums. I'm like, I'd rather listen to a guy talk. Not any guy, but like a smart one. And then you have like, you know, you have like these Republican podcasting women that are just basically like feminists that wear MAGA hats, and they're just like, you know, giving women all the wrong ideas, because not only did they not play their role, but now they're telling all these women not to play their role. And it's like, it's just like like 90% of women in this country are feminists. You know, it's very hard to find like a woman that's not. And the women that aren't have probably already settled down, because like they're extremely high value. Someone said that talk like this. I want to read a little combativeness. That's fine. The talk like this always have the same talking point. Women aren't strong, blah, blah, blah. Freaking boring. I thought you were smart in this. I didn't say that women are not strong. Women are incredibly strong. They're incredibly powerful. They're incredibly intelligent. Women are beautiful. I love women, you know, perhaps too much, but I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not a hater. I love women. Women are incredible. They're amazing. They can do a lot of stuff. It's just physically, they're not as strong as men. That's why people don't want trans sports. Someone said a simp. I'm not a simp. I'm just not like a fake red pill bro who's like, women suck. Be single your whole life. It's like, no, women are awesome. Like, women are cool. It's just, you know, it's just like physically, they're not like their power and strength doesn't come from their physical ability to like beat up a man fighter of the same weight class of them. Like, you know, a woman can be physically strong, but the least strong man in the MMA will beat up the strongest women every time, because the physical strength of a man, God gave men on average way more physical strength than women. That's a fact. So if God gave men on average more physical strength than men, that's why conservatives don't want transgenders playing sports with their daughters. That's the whole concept. I'm just giving you the whole sphere of it instead of just a microcosm that you can complain about all the time. That's why. So if God gave men more physical strength on average than women, do you think God gave women nothing? No, he gave them a lot of skills, a lot of, great things, the ability to create life, the discernment to see certain things that men can't see, the strength to do certain things that men can't do. It's just like all strength is not physical strength. Physically, men on average are stronger, faster. Like I watched a lot of sports, but I like surfing and I like fighting. Women are just slower. They punch less hard. Like the best women are nowhere near the best men. And surfing, the women are sick, especially the younger ones that are coming up. But the men, they turn faster, they turn bigger. They're just better. Like everyone knows it. It doesn't mean women aren't strong. It's just physically, they just don't have that skill set on average. But do you see what I'm saying? Because this is an important concept. It's not to like hurt people's feeling. It's just like Republicans are just controlled opposition where they just say the most obvious version of this feminism, which is like kids shouldn't play sports with the wrong genders because it's not going to like go well for the women. Yeah. But then can you say that with security guards in the military? Can you say that with politics? Can you say that with, other roles in society? Like, can you have at least a discussion about why it should or shouldn't be that way? No, then what's the point of listening? Like, this is why, like, there's certain channels, like all they do is talk about like trans sports. It's like, it's insane to me that's happening. But like, that's like fifth wave that's like seventh wave feminism and like seventh wave LGBTQ plus. But the way you get to the seventh wave, it's called the slippery slope. It's by normalizing the first wave and the second wave and the third wave and the fourth wave. And I've mentioned this recently, but it's like, they didn't put women in the workforce in the 1900s to just help them and give them a career. That's not why they did it. They did it because they sent the men to go kill themselves for the bankers. So they needed people to defend this country, however you want to look at it. And they needed somebody to do the job so the economy didn't fall apart. So it was like an emergency, like, we got to do this real quick. It wasn't like normal. And it wasn't like they did it to be like, we want women to do this. It's just not why they did it. They did it because the men went to war, and then it became normalized. And with it becoming normalized, I'm not saying it's women's fault. I blame men more than women for a lot of stuff, but I'm just saying it's like, now the women are out of the workforce. Now someone else is raising your kids. Now the father's not out of the home. The same way people say that they infiltrated, the Black America and got the fathers out of the home with the certain policies, they did that to white people too. And one of the ways that they did that was the wars. And I'm not saying that men shouldn't fight wars, but after the war, like income tax was supposed to be temporary. All these things were supposed to be temporary, but they never were. They opened it and they never closed it again. And it's like, this is the results of all that, all of what we're facing now are the results of all the things that they did before. I'm not saying that like you shouldn't work. It's just like, when you work, then someone else has to raise a kid if you're in a relationship with someone and have a family. And then if you're not raising the kid, then who's raising the kid? The schools? Well, who's running the schools? Who's writing the books? It's, who's running the daycare? That's just like the reality of the situation. So most Republican circles, you can't say this stuff. So they'll say certain stuff similar, but they won't go that far. So it's like, they just, people have figured this out, but it's like the slippery slope goes further. And then the Republicans are just like 3 steps behind and the Democrats are like right there. So it's like, back in like 1970 or something, it's like second wave feminism, third wave feminism. Now it moves, and like the Democrats are at like eighth wave feminism, and the Republicans are gatekeeping fourth wave feminism, and it's like they just move in that direction, and Republicans are only able to slightly resist more. Someone said, why are you slandering Kid Rock? He wants to kill tens of thousands of innocent civilians and try to say that they're guilty because their government is corrupt and doing bad stuff. Like he agrees with the Biden administration or anything that any government's doing. It's insane. It's disgusting. My words, like my counter to that is nothing, is nowhere near as bad as him saying to kill tens of thousands of civilians. That's one of the grossest clips I've heard all year. It's disgusting. He didn't even say the ones that are guilty. He didn't even say attack them specifically, and if you kill some civilians here or there, it's the price we pay. He's just like, go out and kill the civilians because they can't stop their government. That's disgusting. Like, it's so whatever. Someone said feminism came at the same time as Marxist teachers union, labor unions, Marxist college professors, no fault divorce, welfare, and everything else that got destroyed by the family and religion. God became the government. Yes, common sense. I mean, exactly right. You get it. Like it all, it all came at the same time. It's just, and the point of this, I just want to be clear. It's not to blame women or make them feel bad. Like men have a lot, like there's a lot of downfalls to what's going on. Like men are affected too, because men need good women in their life. You know what I'm saying? Men like having a good mother, a good father, a good wife, a good girlfriend or whatever. Like these are all things that make a man healthier and better. So when this, it's not like, oh, women are bad and men are awesome and men are so cool and women don't play their role. It's like when both sides don't figure out the right situation or at least try to make it somewhat right, then the whole unit is messed up and it affects everybody, boys, girls. Now there's trannies beating up your girl and like wrestling or something and you're crying about it. And, it's like, I don't know. Someone said Biden has given millions to Iran, who are the ones behind Hamas. So you want to kill tens of thousands of kids, innocent kids, because of that? Our government has given hundreds of billions to Ukraine. Do you want to bear the brunt of that? Do you want someone to attack you because of the money that Biden gave to another country? America's funding both sides of the Palestine-Israel war, by the way. They're giving money to Israel in weapons and aid. And then they're giving money to Palestine in aid. America just funds both sides of the war. And when it comes to the Armenian, the attack to try to kill Armenian Christians again, who's giving weapons to the Muslims that are fighting Armenia? It's Israel. It's not a conspiracy. Google Israel quietly funds Azerbaijan, or however you say that name, they're like, that's who's funding them. So it's like, why is our greatest ally funding Muslims who are killing Christians in Armenia? Does anyone care? No, because the blowhard Republican Kid Rock types are just like, kill, 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 kill. They're still stuck in like 2004 mode. It's just like, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. It's like, ew, no. Someone said it's not quiet. It's pretty open about it. Well, who's quiet about it is Republican media. Republican media will not touch it. Candace Owens talked about it. Cernovich talked about it. But you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone else who talks about the fact that Israel's funding the opposition of Armenians, because that's how they get there. That's what Republican media really is. Like you get to these places by not saying stuff like that and by basically doing the Kid Rock style, like just don't question it and anything and just whatever. It's like, it's gross. Someone said with the money that we're paying them. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're using their own money, maybe they're using that money, but the most obvious thing that no one has thought of in a while, and it took me like, I thought of it one day and I was like, how did I not think of this before? America's 30 something trillion, 40 something trillion dollars in debt. We're in debt. We not only don't have money, we have a deficit of money. We're in debt that we're never going to pay off, but whatever. So if we're in debt, how do we have money to give to other countries when we're in debt? If we can just go in further debt to give money to Ukraine, how come Ukraine can't go into further debt to fund themselves? If we can go into further debt to fund Israel, how come Israel can't go into more debt in their own banking thing to give the money to themselves? America is just being looted in every sense of the word by literally everyone all the time. Not just income taxes where they take your money, not just a lottery where you win and they take 40%, 50%. You win the lottery, the state wins the lottery. They're stealing your money. They get to steal. Oh, you won $1 million here? Give me $450,000. They're just robbing everyone all the time. And then you have foreign aid where we're going into further debt. Why can't they go into further debt? Why can't every country? Like, we don't have any money, not for Pakistan, not for Ukraine, not for Israel, not for any, Yemen. I don't know who we're giving aid to Palestine. Why are we giving aid to Palestine? Well, because, they need a lot of aid. Why do they need so much aid right now? Well, because tens of thousands of people are just being murdered. Who's funding that? You are. So we're funding both sides. We're funding the missiles and that are bombing these people, and then we're giving them money. Like, here's some money now that we just killed your family or whatever. It's like, dude, it's disgusting. And then you got people like Kid Rock just kill more innocent civilians because they can't get their government under control. What good citizen of the world can get their government under control? We can't do it. Mexico can't do it. No one can do it. There's not a single country in the whole world that can just get their government under control. Anyone that El Salvador is maybe the only example I could even think of where the president actually fixed a really bad problem and made it 1,000 times better. Everywhere else, it's someone said money to Ukraine needs to stop. Why can't they print their own money? America is just a piggy bank for the whole world. And they're just stealing our money and then trying to make it illegal for us to say that it's being stolen. They're oh, it's Putin, it's this, it's that. They have a name for everything. If you're against giving money to Ukraine, they call you pro-Russia. They call you a terrorist. They call you a Putin sympathizer or whatever. If you're against giving money to Israel, they call you anti-Semitic, or anti-whatever. And then it's if you're against giving foreign aid, they'll be oh, you're racist. You want to close the border. You hate Mexicans. They have a fake hate thing for every situation that's going on. They just say you're this, that, and it's hate speech to say that this is even happening, where it's it's just the most obvious point that nobody thinks of is if we can go into further debt to fund these countries, why can't they go into further debt to fund themselves? And that's why when Biden does the foreign loan thing, or the what did he do? He forgave a bunch of loans. I feel a certain way about it because I paid off tens of thousands of dollars of loans. I stayed home for a year. I worked and I paid off my loans. And I made sure I paid it off quickly so I wasn't in debt. I feel a certain way because I was disciplined and mature, and I did the smart thing, and I got rid of my debt. And now other people get their debt forgiven for not being as disciplined as me. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any resources. I stayed at home for 2 years when I didn't want to stay at home in my 20s and work jobs I didn't want to work, and gave all the money to that job, to my debt, to pay it off. And now I don't get the money. So on one hand, I understand why people are pissed off, because it's anybody that paid off their loans, whether they paid off 10,000, 20,000, or 100,000, how am I not going to get money because I worked, but someone who didn't want to work and pay off their loans, get the money? But on the other hand, I also see it's if we can give $100 billion to Ukraine, it's not a big deal to give $1 billion to American citizens. It's I don't agree with how we're using it, but it's anytime they do a government program that's for Americans, we're oh, that's socialism. It's so it's even worse socialism giving that money to another country. If they have $100 billion or $200 billion to give to multiple foreign countries, can't they do something for America? Can't they do $100 billion program and build roads? People don't even realize, and this is what really, really grinds my gears when it comes to Trump and Operation Warp Speed, is people on the right are so brain dead and so idol worshipy that they justify and normalized, I would say, nearly an $100 billion program, because not only did he give tens of billions of dollars of socialist money to the pharmaceutical industry, but then he bought hundreds of millions of their doses at a certain price. Overall, they probably got $100 billion through that stuff when it's all said and done. Do you know what you could do with let's just start with $18 billion, since that's what he literally just forked over to the corrupt pharmaceutical industry who hates you. Do you know how many gyms you could have built with that? Do you know how many patriotic schools you could have built with that, and health facilities you could have built with that, and basketball courts you could have built with that, or soccer fields? You could have built, America could be reinvigorated with beautiful gyms and health facilities all over the country, and we would have had $5 billion to spare. Trump hates you. Biden hates you. The Democrats hate you. Republicans hate you. Trump doesn't like you any more than Biden likes you. These people are just good cop, bad cop, and they hope that you're so dumb and self-dependent on them that you can't figure out what's right in front of you. If they cared about your health, and then you got, because of the political system, you got Republicans defending pharmaceutical socialism and not even realizing that all that money could have been spent on actually building things that are healthier, or investing $10 billion into an organic food program, or putting $1 billion to fight the propaganda of spraying our skies. It could have, this could have done anything. Our country is so disgusting right now. We're just funneling money to foreign countries, funneling money to the pharmaceutical industry, and they call you an anti-vaxxer, anti-Semite, conspiracy theorist, pro-Putin if you disagree with it. If you think it would be better spent just building gyms all across the country and workout facilities and making them free. They could be free government workout facilities. Oh, but that's socialism. No, that's socialism that actually makes people healthy, not pharmaceutical socialism where all that money goes to Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and all the others, Novavax or whatever. It's like, dude, the only reason that they get away with this is because no one even realizes that they're doing it. The right is against socialism and all this foreign aid, sort of, but not really. They're against foreign aid to Ukraine, but not another country. But when it comes to this stuff, go around to every Republican influencer. I'll just name a few: DC Drano, David Harris, all of these type of characters, right? They'll all make excuses for Operation Warp Speed and be like, oh, well, he had to do it. Oh, he didn't mandate it. So you're okay with him giving $18 billion to the pharmaceutical industry? Oh, they needed to do it. Okay. These people are not a threat to the system. It's like normalizing socialism and communism for pharmaceutical industry instead of letting you know our leader sold us out. Cat turd, he's the worst. Our leader sold us out and could have spent all that money on building gyms and health facilities all across the country, everywhere. Could have funded the national parks for 10 years. This country could be incredible. They want opposition. They want cat turds. Cat turd's not a threat. He's probably got, I don't even want to go there, but it's he's just Trump, Trump, Trump. He's caught in a fantasy cosplay world. It's he doesn't critically think about these things. No one does. I probably interviewed in the last 3 years since 2020. I probably had 10 or 15 people that liked Trump more than me during all this stuff. And they all said the same exact thing. Not a single one of them said Operation Warp Speed is truly horrible because Trump gave tens of billions of taxpayer dollars to the pharmaceutical industry, which is an insane, scummy, terrible thing to do that we're going to pay for the next 20 years because that's a crap load of money to an industry who does not need our taxpayer money. And who couldn't make this money in the free market. That's why they use all these government scams, because in the free market, they wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff without their liability shields and little socialist commie plans. But anyway, not a single one of these conservatives would admit that it was bad. They all said it was okay. They all said it was good. They all said that it was a thing and they had to, but it wasn't mandated. This is why Republicans are more disgusting to me than liberals. Liberals are the obvious opposition that don't agree with you on anything. Conservatives are the traitors. They're even worse. You know what I'm saying? Because it's if Hillary Clinton did Operation Warp Speed, they'd agree with me. But when Trump does it, they all have to suck on his knob so they could go to Mar-a-Lago and sell you out. They're the ultimate deceivers. They're the ultimate con artists. They're the ultimate controlled opposition. They're the ultimate taking the people that they claim to love the most and just throwing you into a wood chipper and throwing you into the slaughter. They're more disgusting to me than liberals. Not a single one of them has the brain or the soul or the courage to admit that a nearly $20 billion socialist pharmaceutical program is bad, they all say it's okay. They don't even think it's okay. If Hillary were the president or Romney were the president, they would say the same exact thing that I said. But when Trump does it, they all need balls down their throat to make a career. They all sell you out. They all deceive you for millions of dollars, and they make a fortune off of selling you out. That's even worse than liberals. They're pretending to be your best friend, and they're selling you out to the enemy. It's disgusting. But people don't think like this, so they just keep doing it. And once they get like a political battle, like Trump versus Biden, everyone's brains are scrambled. Now they're just opening the floodgates because no one can do anything about it because nobody can think anymore. The left can't think, the right can't think. So it's just like, just keep it to them. Open the border, send the money to Ukraine, send the money to Israel. You know, well, if Speaker Johnson wants to send the money to Israel, they'll want to send the money to Ukraine. They'll want to do this, but either way, you're not getting a border. Your options are you get a border if you give $100 billion to foreign countries for a $5 billion border, or you just give $16 billion to Israel, but there's no option to just fix your own border. But you guys can't figure it out, right? It's just Speaker Johnson, right? It's just Mitt Romney, right? It's just Mike Pence, right? It's just them. It's not Trump, right? It's just not Trump. It's just all the people he hired. He's in on it too. Vote for him, defend him. Don't let the courts do what they're doing, but they're using him as a tool to screw everybody over. And he doesn't even have the conviction to stand up against it. He gives them the money to do it. It's crazy. Someone said you should be able to review Facebook comments. Only 150 watching live. Well, I have like 500-600 people on YouTube, so I see all the comments at once. There were like 1,000 people here, so it's not just you guys. Facebook, I used to get 6,000 people. They don't show my live streams anymore, but that's okay. They show my other posts and my clips and stuff. So Facebook doesn't want to show my live streams. They're trying to phase out live streams because it's not good for the algorithm, I guess, anymore. So it's okay. Someone said it's about both sides playing each other. If you can create a dynamic where the left just hates the right and the right just hates the left, but they don't want to admit that their side's kind of in on it. It like in some ways, like it sucks because left wingers are just too brainwashed. Like they're wearing masks. They're like obsessed with pharmaceutical products. Like the left is a degenerate mess. But in some ways, just like the right is so much better than the left, like a lot of these left-wing activists, I mean, they're insane. That they do things that are just totally bizarre. Like they're annoying. I can't stand them. But it's like in some ways, they don't like the Democrats or the Republican Party, and they just hate everybody. You know, in some ways that makes more sense. I'm not saying they make sense because they don't. They're insane. But it's like Republicans obsessing over Trump is almost dumber than Democrat liberals who just hate everyone and just want to stop the war. It's like but they're also like weird, and they throw like soup at the Mona Lisa. Like, you know, there's nothing there for me, but it's like the right isn't as rebellious as they think they are. In my opinion, the truth is more conservative. So the right is the solution, but they're controlled. So it's like they're almost worse. You know, like a crazy left-wing activist, although they're degenerate and annoying and dumb, they're almost helping more than a right-winger controlling the opposition, slobbering over a guy selling them out to a foreign country. Like the right is not better than the left. I mean, they in theory they would be, but if the right is filled with a bunch of blowhard, phony, like Trump slob-knobbing, like total grifters, sellout scum, they're actually worse because they're just filling the void of something that needs to be there and wasting your time and convincing you that they're not that. So it's like, you know, like the left is the obvious. That's not me. But if you talk to most left-wing activists, they don't like Joe Biden and they don't like Donald Trump. That makes more sense than someone who like obsesses over Trump. But they're just too brainwashed over everything else to even be like a valid vehicle. And they're weak, and they're like, not all of them, but it's like, you know, they're not the solution. But it's like somehow the right has devolved into being more useless than them, and they don't know it. Someone said nothing is worse than Democrat ideology. The Democrats are destroying America, but the Republicans are letting it happen and also destroying America while pretending to not destroy America. So the left is the obvious destruction of America. The right is the not so subtle. they're in on it, but you just don't want to admit they're in on it. Like, you can't beat the left by funneling communist money to big pharma. That's what Trump did, and he's not sorry for it. And none of these people are sorry. They don't have to be sorry because their base doesn't respect themselves. If Sarah Huckabee Sanders apologized and said, I'm sorry for trying to connive and con the South into getting the Trump vaccine to get the compliance rate up, I would forgive her. But she doesn't have to apologize because MAGA is too brainwashed and subservient to Trump to even notice or care that they did that. And they don't even think it's a big deal. When you scam Republicans, as long as you scam them with a MAGA hat on, they don't notice. They're like, that's fine. It's fine if you did that. I mean, at least you didn't mandate it. It's like Stockholm syndrome. It's like, you know, Blue Master punched me in the face 100 times, but you only punched me in the face 95 times. So I appreciate that you didn't punch me 5 more times. And it's like, it's better, but it's not like like, why are you worshiping these people? Because they only punched me 95 times, but the master on the blue side mandated the punches. But it's like, but the right wing funded the punches. The right wing gave them the brass knuckles to punch you. And it's like, yeah, but he didn't mandate it. It's like, that's like the right wing. They're like drooling like animals over like right wing con artists, and they can't like confront them at all over anything. Or it's like, it makes no sense. The biggest complaint in MAGA world is that Mike Pence didn't overturn the election on January 6th, which doesn't even make sense. But it's like, okay, so who do you want to be the vice president then? And they all say, Vivek. Did you know he cried on January 6th, or told Fox News that he cried on January 6th? Why would you want a vice president who cried on Because he changed now. How long ago was that? A year ago? He changed from the book you wrote a year ago. It's like, dude, MAGA is so easy to trick. It's insane. Like, they're as dumb as liberals. I don't say this with any pride. It's like a competition to try to like snap people out of it so they're not so easy to scam. I don't want to see you walked all over like a doormat, but like any good con artist is like, dude, scam the right. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rights, that's where the money's at. Like, you know, they're real easy. And now what people don't even realize too, and this is bothering me a lot, but it's like in 2017, 2016, before then, especially if you're older, I wasn't that old, but like, it wasn't like the last like 10 years coming out and being conservative or supporting Trump or being right wing. It wasn't profitable. It wasn't good for business. And there was no money in advertising in it because everybody was against you. So to do that in 2016 or 2015 or 2017 or 2014 or 2018 or 2013 or 2019 or 2020, this was not easy. Now, right wingers are making more money. Right wingers, all left wing media is going out of business. Vice is out of business, or not out of business, but like left wing media is toast. We won. You know what I'm saying? Like, real people are winning. The fakers are losing. It's a good thing. I'm not mad at this. This is amazing. But it's like, now the money's shifting to the right. So all these people, if they pop up, if they weren't there from 2016 to 2020, if after January 6th they said they were crying and now they're in line to be the vice president, people don't realize that the money shifted. Once the money, like, you suck up $1 billion out of the pharmaceutical industry. Everybody realizes how corrupt the pharmaceuticals industry. You pop up and now you're ultra MAGA man. People don't realize that, like, smart opportunists, there's people that are hustlers that'll make money. However, hedge fund, let's do hedge fund, pharma, Democrat, Republican, Fox News, whatever. Where's the money? Where's the money? Not everyone's ethical. You know, most people will do whatever they have to do. Apparently, Brian Stelter's running as a Republican in New Jersey. I don't know if it's true, but they published the headline. You know, I got to look into it. But it's like, people, like, the money is not on the left anymore. The left, yeah, they have like big institutions and Super Bowl. There's still a lot of money on the left. Don't get it twisted. But as far as like niche podcasting world, comedians are killing everyone. Right wingers are crushing everyone. Social media. Name 10 left-wing celebrities. There's a few, but there's not. We won the advertising battle. You understand? People aren't afraid to advertise with right-wingers like they used to be 3 years ago. So now you see people that are just like, oh, and now they're just like, how do I make money on the right? What, you know, like, I'm not trying to pick on Vivek because he's interesting, but it's like ChatGPT. It's like, what do these people want to hear? the election was stolen, and they just say your talking points, and they're just sucking up money, and they realize that the business, like they're now stealing the business of conservatism because that's where the money is. The same way, do you think all celebrities were liberal in 2015 or 2016? No, but that's where the money is. You know, you don't come out and say you're conservative and you like Trump. You shut your mouth and just do gay things and wear dresses and, you know, pretend like you don't notice that things are getting like weird and all the movies suck and nobody's funny or interesting anymore. And they're like phasing a certain race out of like, you know, major roles. And it's like the money's in not noticing that. But now it's all flipping. That's a good thing. I'm not mad at it. I'm not jealous. I'm not hateful. It's good that it's flipping in our direction. And I'm fine. But instead of the people that actually are that and are who they pretend to be, all the business people and the hedge fund bros and the billionaires and the people in other industries are like, let me take that industry, because the right wing is untapped. There's a multi-billion-dollar industry and nobody really has a stranglehold on it because all the left-wing media is going out. So now all the opportunists and grifters and con artists are coming in and they're like, let me just do what these people are doing in a fake way, but bigger. And I know more people and I have connections to more money. So I'll steal the market from the people. And that's what I'm seeing now. It's like, if someone's better than me, I don't care. If somebody's ethical and different, but righteous, it's like, yeah, go crush it. You know, like the more voices we have, the better. But I think that for all the pros that Republicans have, I think they're way too like naive, where it's like, maybe it's from being beat down by the left for so long. But if like someone comes and does like a little smidge for you, then it's like the loyalty's just there. Where that's all I'm saying is like, why? I don't know. No one's really questioning that sort of stuff. It's like people just want people to like Trump. So all the opportunists are like, you know, just liking Trump now. With the Trump music, it's like, I'm not gonna like, it's not nothing personal, but like just like random rappers are coming out of nowhere now, like 7 years later, and they're just like Trump, 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 and doing like weird songs, and then like people are just throwing money at them. They're like, you know, they're like, oh, we got one of them, we got somebody get like, it's just like they don't even like care if it's good or people like it or it's not like it's like, oh, they're saying what we want them to say. Let's use zero discernment whatsoever and just like, you know, throw money at them. Someone said, I like Trump because he's a WWE character. That's all. He's definitely funny. Like I saw him doing his little Biden bit. Trump is a comedian for sure. He's definitely like more likable and funny than Biden. It's just a two-pronged situation. Like you don't want to export all your opinions onto a politician. If people just voted for Trump and just liked him, it's not a big deal. There's a lot to like about Donald Trump, but people that worship Trump, they export all their opinions onto him. So it's like, if he says we're not giving money to the pharmaceutical industry, they'll be like, yeah, that's good. And then Trump's like, actually we are, but I'm not going to mandate it, but I'm going to call it warp speed. And they're like, that's good also because the therapeutics. And it's like, Trump, it's not that people like him or vote for him. He just controls their every thought. Like they don't, like when I was like, no, that's totally not good. I'm one of like 1,000 that says that, and everyone else just plays along like robots. It's voting for Trump or laughing at him or thinking he's funny or thinking he's better than Biden. There's nothing wrong with that, but export or rather like having no thoughts of your own and just being like, whatever he does, he's doing what's best for me. And that's all he can do. You are now taking any power away from yourself. Like you have no power. And not everybody has to do everything because everything doesn't even matter. But it's like for myself, the whole reason I got here was like the mainstream media is lying, right? Politicians are lying. The Democrats are corrupt. Republicans are corrupt. I don't like the way the media is being portrayed. I don't like how it's so emotional and so propaganda-y and so like scare tactic. I want to do the news in a chiller way. I didn't give all my power to a politician and then became like whatever he says, I have to believe because I like Jon Stewart or Donald Trump. And that's how you shift culture. It's like 1 billion views later, million, like, and also people that I've helped that have gone on and done stuff. Like it's like a ripple effect when you actually respect yourself and don't just follow orders from a politician. You can shift public perception, which is what the media is doing. But with Trump, it's like the right, he controls the right. Like they have no thoughts of their own. They have like it's all whatever he thinks, then they'll make excuses for. That's the problem. I don't know how to like snap out of that or when people are going to snap out of that, but now I think that a lot of opportunists and hedge fund bros and like billionaires have been like, okay, nationalism's rising. People are tired of the left. They're all jumping to the right. You know, oh, left wingers are protesting Palestine. Oh, I'm right wing now. You know, people like Rappaport, where they're like, oh, the left wingers are more against a country that I like, that now I might vote for Trump. And people are like, oh, he woke up. He didn't wake up. It's just like the tides are shifting. So the people are going to move to the other side. But like, you know, it's just disappointing because I feel like conservatives and Republicans and Christians and whoever are good people, but they're too naive. They're too easy to fool. And there's really good con artists that are just like gonna just take all your money and attention and just like lead you to the slaughter, and people can't figure it out. Someone said there's a reason Vegas has decent odds on Obama on the ballot. I don't think, I mean, I'm going to look at like, these are not official odds, but I'll tell you the election betting odds from this website. Obviously these can change. They will change. They're not official. They don't matter. Trump is 51.1% chance of being president. Biden is 31.5% chance of being president. Michelle Obama has 4.9%, Newsom 2.6, Harris 1.9, Kennedy 1.5. I mean, Michelle at 5% is definitely not small, but isn't that interesting? It's like a coin flip election. 51% they think Trump will win. Do I think your vote, do you all really think your vote counts? I mean, I think it counts to some extent, but all right, I'm gonna read a few more and then I'm gonna roll out. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening and interacting. I had a good time. Someone said it's going to take decades to correct. It's starting to correct. It's starting to self-correct, and it's starting to happen. People just got to make, like, there's rich people that have so much more power. Like, for example, I've built what I've built. I have, to some extent, social power, you know, because I have an audience and I could get my message out there and it can affect other people's perception, or at least, like, you know, I'm not like, I don't have zero power when it comes to this game. But like, there's people with so much money and so many connections where, as things are shifting more right-wing conservative, they can like switch the establishment where it's like, you know, they're like, all right, let's control where the right goes because we have enough leverage in that. So they've been doing it for like years now, but especially with all these like foreign leaders getting elected, they all bend the knee to the same exact entity. They all, like, it's not a coincidence, you know. There's a play being had where very smart people and very rich people are figuring out where the money and the people are going, and they're able to, like, you know, get their version of it through, so you don't get your version of it through, but you don't even know it's happening because you're like, people aren't even looking for it, where they're like, oh, they like, there's no one can say no, but like, there's very little good analysis on like why the schools are now against the left and Michael Rappaport. Like, it's because the left is questioning Zionism and Israel, and that's what they care about. So now they're like, oh, the left is like, the right is more pro-Israel. The right wants to fund Israel more. The left-wing kids are insane and they hate it. Like, oh, let's go to the right. It has nothing to do with, like, you think Michael Rappaport's conservative now? It's about that. And they're saying that, but it's just like, you can't say that, or they'll say it's hate speech. But it's like, and all these like Republicans are like, oh, they really learned their lesson. No, like, you know, like the level of thinking on the right, there's a reason that they're always getting played and losing, is because like there's intelligent people making like high level chess moves, and then the Republican Party acts like golden retrievers, just like following like a ball or something. And it's like, it's not gonna like work if you can't figure this stuff out. Someone said Zionism just means Israel controlling their land. To say Zionism is controlling the world is a lie. Media would say something different if it was true. Media hates Israel overall. I'm not saying it's controlling the world, but what I am saying is like, if you just say Zionism is just a concept of Israel existing, like that's all it is. Okay, then why are Republicans passing speech laws to say that you're not allowed to criticize Israel to a certain extent? Why are Republican politicians passing speech laws that say that you're not allowed to say that a certain group of people controls media and banking? Like, why isn't there a law that says Italians don't control media and banking and like Mexicans don't control media and banking? Why do people that are pro-Zionist, why do they not say that that's unethical and they don't want the speech laws? Why does Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro defend it? Why does Donald Trump pass it? Why does Ron DeSantis pass it? Why does right-wing pro-Zionist media smear me and anybody who talks about the speech laws? Like, why are they trying to undermine the First Amendment? Why is it illegal? Why is one of the most illegal things to do as far as speaking in the world is question anything Israel or Jewish? Like, so it's like, I'm not saying it's controlling the world, but it's like the lack of self-awareness and self-accountability is just remarkably stunning, where it's like all these things are going to happen. We're not going to talk about them. We're going to smear everybody that talks about them. And then we're going to make it illegal to say that we're running anything. Wow. Like, what? Name another group that makes it illegal to say that they control banks and media. Like, is there a speech law that says you can't say like Muslims control it or Arabs control it or Mexicans control it or like homosexuals control it? Like, even Freemasons, someone's talking about Freemasons. There's no speech law that says you can't say Freemasons are controlling the banks. Like, there are anti-Semitism laws being passed in almost every state that makes it a hate speech offense to say that can, and then in the same laws, they're also conflating what they would call ethnic racism or anti-religiousism or whatever. They're also saying there's a country that you're not allowed to criticize more than other countries, and you're not allowed to talk about blood libel, and you're not allowed to talk about who killed Jesus. And like, these are in the laws. So it's like, I'm not defending everything being said in those laws, but it's like, why do those laws need to exist in other countries? Why do so many countries around the world make it completely illegal to question certain things? Like, that's not normal, especially not in America. So, Zionism is absolutely the, movement to create the new version of Israel and defend it. But like, why can you not do that without passing speech laws? Or why do people defend speech laws? And, it's like all these sort of things where it's like, if it's just existing and defending itself, it's fine. But like, it's like taking $100 billion from America to defend Ukraine and then saying that you're pro Putin if you disagree with it. It's like, then don't take any American money. If you don't want people to question it, then don't take the money. But you want the money, the speech laws. I'm not saying you specifically, but it's like, that's the problem. There's no self-awareness and self-accountability in that. But then anybody that's pro-Zionist will just call you anti-Semitic if you say anything of the sort. So it's like, there's no awareness or accountability for any of the overextends, and then they just like say they deny that it's even happening, pass speech laws to say that you can't say it's happening, and then try to smear your character when you say that it's happening. It's like, does that sound like just a country defending? Like, it's gone far beyond that. Everyone knows it's gone far beyond that. It's not a secret. Like, literally more than half the world understands that now, and constantly lying and smearing people for mentioning it is just not going to work anymore because everybody knows it. Like, it's like blatantly obvious. So like, the covering up and the lying and saying like it's just this when it's so clearly more now. I don't want it to be more. I don't think it should be more than that, because I don't think America should have speech laws. But like, that's what people just keep saying. They're like, oh, it's just this country trying to defend itself. Then why is almost every Republican passing a hate speech law into America that protects that country and protects one group and one religion only? Like, why doesn't every religion get that? Like, why can't Italians and Polish people and Arabs, why can't they get a hate speech law that says that you're not allowed to question them, or you're not allowed to say that they control banks and media, and you're not allowed to say that, you're not allowed to conflate this with this, or, why isn't there anti-white people laws, or anti-Christian laws, or anti-Muslim laws, or Mexican laws? Like, why did none of these exist? Because they don't have lobbyist groups. And it's not hate speech. They'll say that this is hate speech, but they have lobbying groups lobbying the politicians to pass the laws. And then when they pass the laws, they try to say that it's hate speech to say that that's even happening in the first place. It's the most it's just so disingenuous. It's so insanely disingenuous. Instead of just being like, yeah, it's happening. It's like, it's not happening. We'll do it, but then we'll make it illegal to say that we're doing it. You can't say that. Like, they'll say like it's hate speech to say that people are paying Republicans. Like, is it anti-pharmetic to say that big pharma pays both sides of politics to get something? No. Is it anti-Semitic to say that there's donors that exist that pay certain people to pass certain policy that's beneficial to their worldview or their it's the reality, but they'll just say it's hate speech to say that that's happening while they pass hate speech laws to try to make it even more illegal to do it. And Republicans are doing this. They're the ultimate sellouts. And if once you realize that they're selling out to that insane extent, they just hate you, and they find some stupid, dumb, fake, like soulless, empty person to fill your spot and go on Fox News and just say the talking points. So, it's, in my view too, I don't know what the ultimate goal is, because like I can't really tell like what people are even trying to do. But like in my view, this goes with like America, since it's such a diverse place at this point. Everyone has to be honest. Every religion, every race, every gender, like people just have to be more honest, and then we could get along more. But if there's so much double standards and hypocrisy, people don't like that. So it's like, for an example, this is also going to be super edgy, but it's just the truth. If you look at the crime statistics in every city, you'll notice a pattern. If you look at the crime statistics in every state, you'll notice a certain pattern. It's not saying that everyone's doing it. It's not saying that only one race can commit certain violent crimes. It's not saying that, but like the patterns and the statistics and the basic math of it is overwhelmingly obvious that, there's certain groups that are just doing astronomically higher rates of certain things. It's just obvious. Everyone knows it. Not only can you not talk about this in America, or they'll say it's racist, most leaders in these racial communities will gatekeep it and act like it's not happening, which only makes people more distrustful and more disdainful about it. If everyone came up and was like, yo, this is happening, it's not everyone's fault, but like, it's true, then people would feel better about it. Like in the Italian world, I think not always, because there was definitely crime and mob stuff, but it's like the family would like self-police. They'd be like, don't do that. But in other communities, not only do they not self-police, they self-defend all the messed up stuff that other people are doing and act like it's not happening and act like you're bad if you notice that it's happening, which only separates the races more and makes people feel worse about it instead of just owning up to it and helping self-police. And this goes for everybody. It's like, imagine if I defended every weird Christian pastor all the time and I just defended every Christian. It's like, I probably criticize Christian leaders more than I compliment them. You get what I'm saying? If I only defended every Catholic and Christian every time and said it was hateful to say that they're doing it, not only would you not trust them, but you wouldn't trust me. And it would make you trust Christians and Catholics less just because I'm being so disingenuous and fake about it. That's what's going on in this country. And with the Zionist anti-Semitism speech laws, it's only making millions of people feel like something's going on because it's just so disingenuous, so many double standards, so anti-constitutional, and just so delusionally double standardy that like it's making more people not like it. And it's the same thing with the war. What happened last year was absolutely horrific, and I would never downplay a tragedy. But it's like by doing the civilian thing and having people like Kid Rock say they want to just kill more civilians, it's making more and more and more and more and more people like not feel good about it. And then instead of having a conversation about it, speech laws, lying about it, saying it's not happening, attacking people, like framing the concept in some weird thing and just spiraling at people and stuff, it's only just making more and more people feel weirder about it. So unless that's like the plan is to like make people annoyed and then like fundraise off them being annoyed, like maybe that's part of like a certain strategy where it's like same in certain racial communities where it's like, oh, we need to donate to Black Lives Matter and this and that. Like every time something happens, like, oh, we need to give more money to this and that. Like if that's part of the plan, then that's what it is. But if it's like, if the plan is to get people to get along and not have as much hate and like tension between races and religions, passing a law for one race and one religion is not going to ease tension. But I don't think people care about easing tensions. It's like everybody's just filled with double standards. And it's like, I don't demand that you trust all Christians and Catholics. And I don't say it's anti-Christophobe to say that there's Christians doing bad stuff. I know that there's Christians and Catholics and churches doing bad stuff, and I talk about it all the time. And if someone calls it out, I'm not going to say that you hate all Christians, because that's not true. But in the Zionist world, they do that. If you at all say anything outside of whatever they want you to say, they go nuts and they call you anti-Semitic and they say it's crazy. And I don't care. I wouldn't even want a law for my own ethnic group or anything to say that you can't criticize or question or talk about certain things historically, because it would only make people dislike me more, and it would only like make me look crazier. So it's like, I want to have a conversation about my ethnicity or whatever, a real one. And if your criticisms are valid, then they're valid. And if they're not, they're not. But I don't need a speech law to be able to defend myself against words and just recant like history. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's what's going on. And then when you say that that's going on, people will be like, that's not happening. It absolutely is happening. Oh, you just hate me. No, I don't. You just hate this country. I absolutely do not. You don't think this country should exist. I do think it can exist. I don't run the world. I'm not Genghis Khan. I don't go to Romania and tell them they should be this. I don't know if Ukraine is Russia. It's like, they can fight over that stuff because it's their history. I'm not Russian. I'm not Ukrainian. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, I'm not Israeli and I'm not Palestinian. I have sympathy for casualties on both sides, obviously, but it's like, I don't have a huge opinion about like who controls what. I just don't want to see people killing each other. But when you're passing speech laws in my country, and then in the speech law, it basically tries to make it illegal for me to say that you're even doing what you're doing, that's like pathologically, diabolically, like disingenuous to like insane levels. Like, it's one thing to do something. In that law, it says that it's anti-Semitism by law now, because Republicans are sold out. It's anti-Semitism by law to say that people have dual loyalty to another country. It's one thing to have loyalty to Israel. It's another thing to pass a law to make it illegal and hate speech to say that anyone has loyalty to Israel. Like, do people realize how crazy that is? So, like, if you're pro-Zionist, that's fine. It's just like, understand that passing all these laws and being so disingenuous about it, it's only like making more and more people realize this stuff. In fact, to be transparent, I never thought about any of this stuff my whole life. I had Jewish friends in high school. Some of my favorite people to this day, some of the nicest, most charitable people in my life have been Jewish. I know there's stereotypes about every race, religion, gender, and stuff. I haven't personally seen it in my personal life, because I understand that there's great people. And I've been like, Jewish people have been cool to me my whole life. I never even thought about religion or anything until the one day. I've explained this before, but it's like, I asked because I started seeing people saying it was a race. Some people said it was a religion. I just thought it was a religion. I didn't understand it was also an ethnic group. So I just asked the question on Twitter one day, because I just was like, I didn't know. I thought it was just a religion. I was like, is it a race or a religion? And I got like 100 comments. People go, you're anti-Semitic, you're hateful. Why do you hate us? And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, I literally just wanted to know if it was a race or religion. Some people said it's a race, stop being anti-Semitic. Some people said it's a religion, stop being anti-Semitic. Stop doing this, stop doing that. And I'm like, whoa, that's what made me even realize anything was happening. I never knew my whole life. I never cared. Islam, like my friend was Muslim. My one friend was Jewish. I never thought I get it. They pray 6 times a day. He wears a yarmulke and gets a bar mitzvah. Obviously, they're different religions and different cultures, but I never thought badly about anyone, and I still don't. It was just like, I wasn't raised to care about this stuff. I know different like my Muslim friend's mom prayed 6 times a day. Like, it's clear it's not Christianity. She's dropping to her knees like 6 times a day at like weird times to pray with music playing like that. I literally saw that, and I was like, okay, Islam's different than Christianity. And with Judaism, it's different also. Like, he had a bar mitzvah. He had there was different stuff. It wasn't until I realized that it was a race and a religion and everyone called me anti-Semitic that I did more research. And then it's like, I pay attention to politics. So when Trump is passing an anti-Semitism hate speech law, I read the whole law, and it's got like a list of 11 things that you can't say. The first one starts off crazy and like something that no one should say. And then getting down, it's like they set the first one crazy. So it's like, oh, it's just that. It's not just that. I read all the laws, and I'm like, whoa, they're passing hate speech laws to make it illegal to say that anyone has loyalty to another country. They're like, that's crazy. And it's like, and then I'm getting called anti-Semitic because I realized that there's major donors in politics that fund a variety of the topics, including that one. And now it's not only that you can't say it without getting smeared by Republicans, but they're actually passing a legal definition to try to pseudo phase it out and make it like illegal. It's crazy. So it's like that type of behavior and like not admitting that it's happening is only like, it only makes it worse. There was this guy that I was talking to on Twitter that I think he lives in Israel and he's Jewish, and he was super cool to me. We would talk during the pandemic. Like he would like we would just chat and he was super cool. And then out of nowhere, he just starts calling me anti-Semitic all the time, like a year or two ago. And I was like, what did I say? And he's, you hate this and that. I was like, dude, I literally just talk about the law. You hate, you hate me, you hate me. And it's like, that's the type of behavior where it's like, that's just weird. I'm not going to hate you because it's not even worth my time to like feel that way about you. But I'm just disappointed because it's like, we were friends. I don't care that you're Israeli or Jewish or like, that was always totally cool. Like I have a lot of, people that are cool to me in Israel. It's just like, why are you yelling at me over literally nothing? Like, and like why can't I think it's bad to pass a speech? Like you need like foreign aid or else you call me anti-Semitic. Like that seems a little unfair. Like you just get hundreds of billions of dollars of foreign aid and just call it hate speech when I say that I don't know if that's a good idea. Well, now this seems like a really unfair friendship because you're just being very like disingenuous and rude. And it's like, that's the sort of stuff when people do that. I don't know why they do that or what's going on, but it only makes people like distrust more, or it's like, I'm lucky that like I have good people in my life that break all stereotypes. So I know it's not true to everybody, but it's like, if you won't like name one Zionist Republican that admits that Republicans are passing Zionist speech laws and that it's probably a massive double standard. Name one, not two, not five, not seven, name one. Can anyone name one extremely pro-Zionist Republican that admits that Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Youngkin, Kemp are passing anti-Semitism, hate speech definitions through legislation in all parts of the country through executive order at schools? Name one. Dave Rubin supports it. Ben Shapiro supports it. Everybody either supports these speech laws or just acts like they're not happening. Does that make you trust it more? And then people will comment like, oh, it's just it's just this. It's like, is it though? Is it just that though? I'm trying, like, honestly, Roseanne is awesome. Like we talked about it on her show. Roseanne will have a conversation about it and I'll say what I say and she'll be like, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. But it's like, as far as like any Republican, like, I don't see any major Republican that'll talk about this. In fact, I've come to the conclusion that all the major Republicans that don't talk about this, that's why they're major Republicans. If you're a major Republican and you do talk about this, it's a much harder path. The only major Republican with a huge audience that really talks about this is Candace Owens, and if you like, Candace was always hated by the left or whatever. Watch what Candace has to deal with now that she's talking about this stuff quite boldly, quite openly, quite unapologetically. She can do it because she's super popular, super powerful, super influential. Like Candace can get away with it, but she's like, it's a lot easier for her to not say any of this stuff. So let's see, like, I'm seeing like David Horowitz came out and said that she's anti-Semitic and he regrets working with her. Ben Shapiro's cried about it. Like, her doing this is a way more difficult path. And I respect her for having the bravery to even have certain conversations. With that being said, she's gotten to a level where she's so big that it's like, what do they really, like they can't stop Candace. Like you can't really stop Candace Owens at this point. When it like, if she wasn't Candace Owens, I think they would never let her like sign her. But now that she's Candace Owens, she doesn't have to be there. She's bigger than almost anyone. So it's like, she has so much leverage. But if you're like just starting out and you talk about this stuff, you're done. Like they're going to try their hardest to either make you look bad or not allow people to see you. But the thing is, like, it's just not working anymore. You know, it's just not like it's overused, and it's like racism. It's just like you've said it so many times. You've said everything's racism. It's at the point that people are like they're not caring about your false labels. Like, you know, like how many times are you going to use that word falsely? Same with anti-Semitic. Like if you only called really bad people anti-Semitic, it's like, okay, it's a word that I believe. But if you call billions of people on the planet that and pass speech laws and say you're not doing it and pass a law that says that you're not allowed to say that you're doing it, like it's like no one believes it anymore. You know, you called Tucker Carlson anti-Semitic, you call Candace anti-Semitic, you call Trump anti-Semitic, you know, all the liberal activists are anti-Semitic. Like it's like now by doing that, now liberals don't care about that word. Like 2 years ago, liberals would hear that word and be like, oh, it's these right-wing horrible people. But like you're calling them, I mean, a lot of the left wingers, you don't have to like them. You don't have to think they're right. But a lot of these left wing activists are Jewish. They're like a lot of the liberal Jews in America are, you know, critical of Zionism because they're super progressive and they don't have loyalty to Israel. You know what I'm saying? And I've never said every Jewish person has loyalty to Israel because it's not true. It's like categorically not true. But it's like, how many times are you going to call Jewish leftists anti-Semitic? Like you know, it's like what is the word? Like it just, people are like not caring about the word anymore. So now when a left-wing Jewish person gets called anti-Semitic 50,000 times, they're never going to believe you when you call anyone that ever again. Like it's just like overusing the word to the point where like people don't react to it anymore. JK said, thanks for the conversation. Grab lunch, my treat. Appreciate it after the stream. I'm going to serve too. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. That was really nice. Appreciate it. I'll definitely get lunch. Someone said most of Big Con Inc. influence. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, you know, it's pretty obvious what's going on. I want to see. Hold on. Someone said something about North Dakota. The North Dakota Legislative Assembly passed a law that stated you cannot do business with any company, organization that does not support Israel. Yeah, that's called a BDS law. So there's multiple parts of this thing. Like the BDS law is like boycott, divestment, sanctions. Trump passed it. DeSantis passed it. North Dakota passed it. A lot of states are passing it. It's basically like a Israel loyalty pledge. Like, you know, they're cutting the funding from any company that doesn't have complete loyalty to Israel or something. To me, I'm not a BDS activist by any means, but I don't believe that in America there should be a law that you have to demand your loyalty to a foreign country. And then they'll pass a speech law that says that you can't say that this country has any power over your country, yet somehow how are laws for a foreign country being passed in America if they have no power? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not a BDS protester. I don't do with that, but like, why would North Dakota make it illegal? Like, can you boycott Saudi Arabia? Yes. Can you boycott Australia? Yes. Can you boycott Mexico? Can you boycott every country but America? But you can't boycott Israel now. Like and then they'll pass a speech law to say that that's not happening. Like it's the most it's like, so it's laughably obvious, like that it's like embarrassing that they're even trying to pull it off. And like, no, the amount of people who believe it now, it's getting so small. And they're freaking out too, because like most people who believe this stuff, no offense, are boomers and Christian boomers. The younger generation does not believe this at all. So it's like the people who do believe it are like over 60 and that were like conditioned to believe this stuff. All the young generation, left or right, they're seeing through it completely. So it's like, it's not going to work for that long. With that being said, yeah, Trump passed that through executive order too for college campuses. It's called BDS. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a slippery slope to like force all companies to be loyal to a foreign country. People get what I'm saying, right? You force all companies to not boycott or protest a foreign country, and then you pass a hate speech law that defines definition of anti-Semitism in law to say that you can't say that this group has any power, and that's hate speech. Like it's almost comedic levels of like lack of self-awareness and self-accountability. I don't even get mad anymore. It's just like wild that they're even trying that. It's just like imagine if they passed this is like the equivalent, in my opinion. It's like passing a George Floyd anti-racist bill where every Republican and Democrat in their state passed a bill that said that you're not allowed to say that black men are doing any sort of violent crime and higher rates than other races. Like, it's like, why do you need a law to say that? You could say white people do this or that. You could say, like, you could say things that are true or false or right or wrong or bad. Like, but why do you need a law that makes it illegal to say certain statistical patterns? Like, is it because it's not true? Like, there's statistics on it. You could say why, that you could say it's because of oppression or because of the white man or because of, I don't care why you say it, but like, to make that stat illegal to say, which they pseudo have done on social media. People have been banned for saying that, but it's like, it's equivalent to that. It would be like a racist bill that's like, you're not allowed to say that black people do this. You're not allowed to say that black people do that. You're not allowed, like, I don't care if you want people to say or not say that, but to pass a bill to make it illegal is insane. So that's what they're doing for Israel and Jewish stuff. And most people don't even want that. It's just like, that's what Republicans are all doing. And they're not thinking of it on their own. It's not like Trump woke up and thought of this stuff. It's being pitched to them. It's being handed to them. It's the same definition in every state. It's the same definition. They're adapting the same definition. The IHRA definition, International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition, that was created in like 2015. That's the definition that they're all passing into law. It's like, it's a crazy thing to try to do. It's just dumb and it's not helping, but I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, since it's all so new and it's all being passed and no one talks about it, I'm wondering when they're going to use it. Like, are people going to use it once it's passed in every state? Then it's going to become like a national thing. I don't know, like, how what the play is there, but how come college campuses are anti-Israel? I think that colleges are anti-Israel for multiple reasons. I think not everyone is, but like, left-wingers don't care about Israel. Like, right, not that all don't, because some do, like on the higher levels and the Democrats, but they definitely care about Israel. But like, left-wing progressives, and I'm not saying that they're wrong about everything, but they are wrong about almost everything. They have like this like anti-colonialism, anti-white, like, I'm not complaining about it or crying racism, but progressives, they just see like white people as the enemy, or white people as like the oppressor and the colonizer, and, you know, other people as like the ultimate victims. So I think that Israel, no matter how much that the left and the right tries to get these progressives to like Israel, like the Democratic establishment does, they can't break the programming. Like, the left-wing Marxist programming has made all these kids just like hate America and hate Israel. And it's just like, they can't, they don't want them to, like, they're like, no, just do this in America, but not in Israel. But it's like, it's too late. Like, the kids are already like anti-colonialism. That's why most college campuses are left-wing, and left-wingers don't like America or Israel. So then right-wingers just like America and Israel because they're told to do that, and they see Israel as America. But like, what if the truth was like somewhere in the middle, where it's like, you shouldn't hate them, but also they're a separate country? And it's like, look at what they're doing in their law. Like, at a certain point, you should be more loyal to your own country and understand that you can have an ally. But like, what if your greatest ally was funding the genocide of Christians in another country? Like, why does no one talk about that? Because they're like subservient. Like, you understand? So it's like, but in my opinion, both sides are wrong. But the left mostly, that's why the left feels that way. So then the right just assumes that they're wrong about everything. And it's like, it creates this like battle that it doesn't, it's like Zionist versus Bolshevik, you know? It's like, if you're right wing, the Zionists on the college campus, including a lot of left wing ones, they're now turning against the progressive activists, because the progressive activists are critical of Zionism, in some cases completely against it. And, you know, the big donors, a lot of them on college campuses, although they're fine with Bolshevikism and Marxism, they're not okay with anti-Zionism. So now that the Marxists and the communists and the Bolsheviks are criticizing Israel, a lot of the donors that were fine with their leftism are not fine with that. So now they're starting to pull the money, you know, and the right wingers are passing laws to make it illegal to protest and stuff. It's just a whole mess. But it's like the leftist Bolsheviks versus Zionists, where it's like, it's weird because a lot of the people this always happens in socialism and communism, is like the minions like turn against the leaders, you know, like it always happens because there's no loyalty in Marxism. There's no loyalty in, you know, there's no ethics in the Bolshevik mindset. So they push it on the kids in the college campuses. You know, all these liberal Marxist professors are shameless about it. And then, you know, and then it like turns against them and they're like, what? Like, how did they turn against us? Because they don't like, they don't see you as like a persecuted minority. They just see you as white, you know, and they see you as like the bad colonizer. So they like can't find, you're trying to get them to see you in the light you want them to see you in, but they don't, like the left-wing kids, they don't see it that way. It's a fascinating like little campus battle going on. But that's why I think they don't like them. But also, I mean, you know, this is another thing too. Left wingers are wrong about almost everything. Like in this world, they're just like so far gone. With that being said, you know, killing tens of thousands of civilians is never going to make anyone popular. Like you're losing a lot of support in almost all of the world, because like, it's one thing to go after the people who did it. It's another thing to just slaughter over 10,000 kids. Like that's what's going on. They slaughtered over 10,000 civilian kids. That's not ethical warfare, you know? And I'm not saying the other side's ethical. They're not, but it's just like your solution is to kill tens of thousands of kids and you want people to like you. Like the left wingers see this and they're never going to forget this, you know? It's like what made me more left wing when I was young. The boomer Republicans couldn't see what George Bush was doing. I saw what George Bush was doing and I hated Republicans for it. And I hated Republicans for 15 years until I realized that Trump seemed a little more anti-war. I thought he was. So it's like, you know, these kids are never going to forget this. Like what's going on and the lack of like even being able to talk about it. And then they protest against it. And then they're getting doxxed on college campuses and some psycho's driving a truck around with their face on it and says he wants to harass them for the rest of their lives. Like, dude, these kids are never going to forget about it. And the younger generation does not care. They're not going to be brainwashed like the boomers on this topic. So it's not to say that they're right. I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not justifying what they're doing. I'm just seeing the dynamic of the situation. It's like, now I personally believe that a lot of the establishment, like, everything always goes back and forth, and now they're starting to bank their money in the right because Trump and the Republican Party, like they're way more pro, like it's like Kid Rock. It's like they don't care what these people do. So it's like, you know, the right wing's not really like a threat to anybody, like, because it's, you know, all your leaders will play ball. So someone said the movements that are propped up by mainstream media are not real movements. Pretty much. Someone said, why do so many Christians put, you know, the group that must not be named above their own? You can't say names anymore, else it's hate speech. But I think conditioning, just being like brainwashed to think that there's one group that they can't ever think twice about, even though in the Bible it's so obviously clear that like that's not what it says at all anywhere. Like, you know, it's just like the boomer Christians just got like conditioned to think that way for so long. So it's like, I don't know. Most Christians are more willing to criticize Christianity and their own churches than they are a foreign country and another religion, which makes no sense. But it's like, I'm not asking people to criticize. It's just like, pay attention. It's like if a foreign country bombs a church and kills Justin Amos's family, like it's not the Christian thing to do to say that it's awesome. Like it's not awesome. Like innocent people got killed and a Christian church got hit, whether they meant to or not. Like who told Christians to be like, that's great, do more of that? It's like, they're as dumb as like liberals, you know, like a Christian person that does that is as insane to me as like a liberal activist. Like it's the same sort of like self-hatred, weird thing like going on where they got tricked into like crushing themselves and they don't even realize it. It's all weird. But like for a normal person, like this country's just getting weird, you know, like there's normal people of every race, religion, and gender that are not extreme or crazy, and they get what I'm saying. Black, white, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, like, and it's like, what's going on? We got Biden, who's 81 years old, Trump, who's 77, the Republican Party and Mike Johnson suck. The Democratic Party is beyond the pale. They're 20 times worse, and everybody realizes that. And then you have like liberal activists who are protesting Israel, but they're wearing masks, looking like idiots, and they're like blocking traffic and just being weirdos and like, you know, knocking down subways. And then you got like right wingers that are like, you know, Christians that are justifying a foreign country trying to kill Armenians and like bombing churches. It's like both sides are so crazy. And then people think you're being like a contrarian. They're like, oh, you just want to be different. No, I'm not. I want a tribe. I would love a political party. I'm not like a rebel that needs to be by myself. I just don't like, because I don't want speech laws in my country. It doesn't mean I want to wear a mask and go protest with Palestinian activists. Like, I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be like falsely portrayed as something I'm not. Like, you could say what I said, but like, I'm not hateful. I just notice things and I'm just like, stop doing that. And then it's like, oh my gosh, you hate me. It's like, no, I just don't believe in lopsided double standard speech laws for one group. It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, you're hateful. It's like, oh, you must be like that person who's with Hamas. And I was like, no, I'm not that person at all. I'll go in the streets for a cause that I believe in, peacefully and legally, not some stupid Fed trap, but like, I've been at protests for like anti-mandate protests. I believed in that, so I legally and peacefully went to these protests. I'm not like blocking traffic for foreign war, you know. And also wearing a mask just makes you look so dumb. Like, I get maybe you're trying to like hide your identity, but maybe not. Maybe they're afraid of COVID or something. It's just like, someone said you don't have a hateful bone in your body. I appreciate it. I could definitely be like stern and blunt and like very straightforward, but no, I'm not. I don't. It's just annoying because it's like, if I thought that Israel had no right to exist, I would just say it. I don't care. I don't think that. I'm not. Who am I to tell Israel and Palestine what to do? Like, they're trying to make it like I hate that country, and it's like, I'm not going to call you a colonizer, but if you call me anti-Semitic when I talk about real history, then it's just annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if a Palestinian says that you stole his house and you did steal his house? Like, are you allowed to report that, or is that anti-Semitism? Because that's what Bella Hadid's father said. Like, he's called the anti-Semite of the year. Is his story real or not? I have no idea. I was not there. But like, that's the part where it's like, you know, I think you can exist, but also I'm not cool with like killing tens of thousands of kids. So if you're existent, you have to do that or something. Like, you have to pass. There has to be speech laws passed in America. You have to call everyone anti-Semitic. Like, now it's just kind of getting annoying. So it's like, you know, there's left-wing Jewish women who think that Israel shouldn't exist. I don't think I'm qualified for that. And I'm not saying, some people be like, they don't have the right to exist. I'm self-aware and I don't have an ego. Like, I don't think I get to choose like who exists and who doesn't as a country. Like, oh, you know, that same logic could be used for America and say America shouldn't exist because natives were here. You know, it's a slippery slope, but I think in this day and age, you know, killing kids is crazy. I mean, that's crazy in any age, and killing like justifying the killing of civilians is beyond the pale for me, for any side of any war. But you know, even with Ukraine and Russia, like, to be honest, I don't care who runs that country. Like, I'm not trying to be rude to someone who cares. If you're Ukrainian and you care, God bless you. If you're Russian and you care, God bless you. Me, I'm not going to act like I'm the leader of the world. I'm not God. I'm not Genghis Khan. I don't get to decide who's what. Like, I don't know much about Russian history. Putin knows. Ukrainians don't. I don't know. Is it Russia? Is it Ukraine? Do you want that? Do you want this? I don't care. Personally, like, I think both sides are lying a little bit, but it's like, it's not my top concern. Like, if you know, I'm part Czechoslovakian, or I think that I am, it doesn't even exist anymore. There's the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Like, at a certain point, they separated. Am I crying about it every day? Honestly, I have no idea what happened. A war broke out. They figured out that they wanted to split the countries. Like, this happens in history sometimes, you know? It's happened a bunch. It's going to happen again. So with Israel and Palestine, like, I would love if they could figure it out. But I don't want to be called anti-Semitic if I have an opinion. And also, I don't think that people have no right to change territories. Like, it has happened before. It's like, I don't think it's that uncommon. Although it just, the reason that Israel's so unique is because it happened so recently and so kind of like abruptly, you know what I'm saying? Just like, here, we're coming here. But like with Ukraine and Russia, it's like, we'll act like it's so crazy. It's not that crazy. They've done this a bunch, you know? There's a lot of countries that, like, I mean, look at a map of the world 100 years ago. It doesn't look like it did. Look at it. There were like empires that don't even exist anymore. Like Greece and Rome have like no power now. They used to, or at least not as like, I don't know. I wish I cared enough. Like, cause people will be like, he's this and that. I'm like, I don't think I think you have the right to exist. I don't not think that. Like, it's not up to me. I think you have the right to exist. But like, do I have to like that speech laws are being passed in my country? No. Do I have to agree with foreign aid? No. Do I have to think it's awesome that Kid Rock wants to kill a bunch of kids? No. None of those things are cool, in my opinion. So you can lie about me and call me what you want, but I'm not going to pretend like I think that's a good idea. Someone said Anomaly is mystery meat. He could be Italian one day and Czechoslovakian the next. I'm Italian, I'm Polish, I'm Czechoslovakian, and Puerto Rican. I've never said I wasn't. I mean, to what extent I am, I believe I'm a quarter Italian, a quarter Polish. My Czechoslovakian grandmother, I don't know what mixture she was, so I'm not really sure what all that entails. And with my Puerto Rican grandma, she told me she was Puerto Rican, and she said she had other ethnicities too, like a few other like white ethnicities in her. So I don't know to what extent I'm Puerto Rican, maybe 15% or 20% or 10%, or I'm not really sure, because she was Puerto Rican, but she had said she was Puerto Rican with other ethnic groups, because Puerto Rico, people come there from all over. There's black Puerto Ricans, there's white Puerto Ricans, like there's like a different ethnic. Same with like Mexicans. There's certain white Mexicans, like dark Mexicans, Brazilians, same things, white Brazilians, black Brazilians. But that's my breakdown. I'm not like singly racial. So, but I'm mostly like, I'm American, but I'm mostly European, I think. So, but I'm all American. Yeah, I mean, my family assimilated. My family liked this country. My family served in the military. My family came to this country for a better opportunity. I come from a family of factory workers, a trash man. My grandfather made a trash company and sold it, and apparently used that money to get my grandma here. He worked in a mattress factory. He worked on cars as a mechanic. My one grandfather was good at cars, and my other grandfather worked in a asbestos factory before they knew that asbestos was bad for you. So a lot of people got sick from that. So do I ever think about taking callers? Yes and no. Yes, but also like at this point in my life, the next time I renovate my show, I'm either going to make it like 1,000 times better or keep it as it is. Cause like I would do more stuff, but like I want to do, if I'm going to do more stuff, I'm going to do like a way better production and like have like different elements to it. So I want to do it right. Someone said my grandpa sounds like a badass. My Italian one, he served in the war. He was a mechanic. I think he worked at like Siemens mattress factory. And then, what else did I say? Oh, he started a trash business. My Polish grandfather, he worked in an asbestos factory pretty much his whole life. And then they found out that asbestos was bad. It's pretty crazy. They didn't know that. So like, they had a bunch of factories to make asbestos for houses. Pretty unfortunate. In California, they have a rule to say that certain things are causing cancer. Like California sucks, but they do a few things, in my opinion, that are better than anything else. Most things they do wrong, but like even at certain places, like you'll see signs that say like the paint can cause cancer, the vinyl can cause cancer. So I'm not saying it's happening, but just like asbestos, like no one knew asbestos was bad. They know other things are bad now. It's just cheap and they don't want to stop using them or something. So like California makes you label it, So it's like everywhere you go in California, it's like this might cause cancer. This might cause, like they're telling you everywhere. which is actually nice. Like, this is one thing that I won't complain about with liberal California. They've banned horrible ingredients. They allow you to buy raw milk, which is, I like raw milk better. And they tell you when everything's causing cancer. Like, why don't these Republicans tell you that stuff? I'm not saying California is better. It's astronomically worse in 50 other ways, like the taxes, the rent, the crime. But like, if Republicans cared, they would want to tell you these things. They're just like, they're the ultimate deceivers, in my opinion, because Republicans are pretending to be like nationalistic and love their people, and they really will sell you out to anybody. Bill Gates, the pharmaceutical industry. It's like, who won't these people sell you out to? And you worship them like they care so much about you. I care about people. I care about the whole world, obviously, but as an American, it's like, I also care about America. So it's just sad to me to see that, like, our own Republican leaders are like the ultimate just controlled op, where it's like they're just like salesmen, you know? And that's like, Vivek is like, he'll be a bigwig if he doesn't like burn out, because he's a good salesman. You know, he just says all the right things, and that's what people want to hear. And to be honest, Vivek has said more than most other Republicans ever have said. So it's like, you know, he's good at what he does, and he does talk about stuff that matters more than other. So like, it makes sense that people like Vivek more than other Republicans, because none of them do anything. Like, I'm not even mad that people like Vivek, because it's like, why wouldn't you, compared to the competition? What are you gonna like, Mike Johnson? Who else is in the Republican Party that's even remotely interesting or like saying anything? They all just say like generic talking points. Vivek is probably 20 times smarter than them. So he actually talks about like vaccine manufacturers and stuff. He's like ChatGPT. He's figured it all out and he spits it all out. It's actually impressive. It's just like, on one hand, I'm not buying it, but on another hand, it's like, give him a position, not a big one, but like, let's see who he really is in Congress, because he's got all the talking points down. But it's like, you know, and there's just no competition. It's like when Trump came through, Trump just beat everyone. It's like, why do Republicans like Trump? Why wouldn't they like Trump? What, like, have you heard Jeb Bush? What, you thought Jeb Bush was going to beat Trump? Are you insane? You know, in the era of Obama and Trump and even George Bush, like, Jeb, you think he's going to win? It's like, why? That never made sense to me when liberal media was like, why do people like Trump? It's like, because he's funny and honest and like hilarious and well-spoken, and these guys are a bunch of like idiots. Like, why do people like Vivek? Because he speaks better than all of these idiots. Like, they're all so dumb compared to him. You know, like, that it doesn't mean he's awesome. It just means like the level in politics is so bad, you know, that stands out, obviously. Someone said we're supposed to be grateful for above mediocre. Yeah, I mean, the bar being raised is a good thing for sure, but it's like, I try not to like hate too much. Like, I try to understand why things are happening. Like, you know, instead of being like, oh, it's like, why do people like Trump? Obvious. Like, why do people like Vivek? It's obvious. Like, you know, these other clowns are just so generic and like simple and boring and like slow and don't know how to do a podcast. Like, you know, and then he's out here, he could talk for 2 hours and like answer and think quickly. Like, yeah, it's more ideal. Someone said, Trump is the only politician in America we the people can trust. You're not trying to be mean, in my opinion, you're as dumb as a liberal if you trust Trump. I'm not saying you're dumb if you vote for Trump. It makes sense to vote for Trump. I'm not saying you're dumb if you think he's funny or want to listen to him or like him better. There's nothing wrong with that. If you trust Trump after 2020, you're as dumb as a liberal. You should not trust him. You could vote for him, but trusting Trump is insane. Like, if you trust Trump, there's no chance. Like, I don't know. It's so... And then these right-wing influencers will be like, well, he had to give $18 billion. Like, this is why we don't get anything, because you justify when he does stuff, justify instead of like countering it. It's crazy. Someone said blue, red, they all support the ball earth lie. Listen, when the flatty patties come here, the flat earth bros, you know it's time to end the stream. I'm not doing it because I'm a shill. I'm exhausted. I've been here for 3 hours. But, you know, we successfully didn't talk about flat earth the whole time, and you brought it in. And I'm not mad at you. You know, Anomaly is a true, diverse podcast, we allow the whites, minorities, Christians, Asians, Muslims. Asians isn't a religion, but it's funnier to pretend like it is. Christians, Asians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, the Amish, which is also not a religion, but funny if you put it in that category. We like ball earthers who believe in the globe. We like flatty patties who think it's a dome. This is true diversity, allowing all earth conversations. So, if you don't believe in the new moon landing, which mysteriously just couldn't make pictures within the first couple of days, you're crazy. Because like nothing's more believable than a video of guys sitting in front of computers with no, photos of the surface or anything, So what's there not to believe about that? I mean, it's just, space guys just crushing and just looking at computers. And just seeing them look at the computer made me realize, like, we're back, boys. America's back. We're back on the moon because we see the video of the guys with the computers. I mean, nothing says moon landing like not being able to download the photos or whatever. So yeah. While we are a diverse show, we condemn everything bad. So I just want to cover all my bases. Any bad opinions or bad things that have ever happened here, like I condemn completely. We only allow the greatest things, and anyone else that you perceive as bad is horrible. And I'll throw them under the bus in a second to preserve my own channel. So, I completely disavow all the horrific people here. But no, like sometimes people will jokes aside, they'll be like, "Well, did you see the comments?" It's like, maybe not. I don't know. Like which comment? Like, your commenter said the thing. It's like, do you realize I have 1.6 million people on Facebook? I'll post 4-5 times a day on Facebook and get like 3,000 comments on all my pictures. Do you know how many I'm reading of them? None. Most days. Sometimes I try to read them and respond when they're funny, but like I don't know. I get thousands of comments between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and like no exaggeration, over 1,000 comments every day. I don't read them. So it's like, not only do I not always read them, so I try to sometimes, but it's like when people will be like, oh, because they commented that, it's your fault. It's like, okay, says somebody who's never had big channels with thousands of comments. Because like I'm not taking a responsibility for what people comment. Also, I don't like delete comments unless someone says something like super crazy and like super horrible. Like, I mean, most of the time I still don't delete it because I don't even see it. But like if I see comments, I try to like block as little people as possible unless they're really annoying or cringe or something. But like if someone just has like a crappy opinion, and I want to say this too before I leave. Like I posted a rap video of all right, the guy's yelling about me about the earth again. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm just making a joke about it. But anyway, I posted a rap video of me from 2017 on Instagram. I understand that most people like my news analysis. My rap is doing well. I do good at concerts. I'm a great performer. I've done really well for myself. But I understand that most people are there for my news. I'm not delusional. Like my news has 1 billion views. My raps have tens of millions of views, maybe 100 million total with all the streams and views. Probably not. Maybe it's like 50 million. But it's not like the rap is small. It's just the news is like 100 times bigger. So that being said, I know people like my music. I know people like my rap, my news. When I post a rap thing, which is not all the time, especially one that's fire from 2017, where I'm at a rap blog and I'm just spitting lyrics that are still very relevant. I don't care if people don't like it, but I block people when they're like, this one guy's like, you should do this. You should make a new channel for this. I don't want to sit here and do this and that. And it's like, do you think I'm your dog or something? Like if you say I don't like rap or this is good, but I don't like it, or this is bad, I don't like rap. It's like, who cares, bro? But also it's like talking to me like I should make a new channel for you because you don't like one video I posted in 3 months because it's rap. Like instant block. It's like, talk to your dog that way, bro. Don't talk to me that way. And it's like, this is this and that. And it's like people, I don't mind if people don't like it, but when people like try to tell me what to do, it's just like an instant block. It's like, this is terrible. You should do what I do. And it's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, have you ever played a show in front of 5,000 people and got a roaring applause? That's an experience you'll never experience in this life that I've done. Like, I'm great on stage. I could perform at any music venue. I'm confident in my abilities and I'm a good lyricist and I'm a good artist, but I'm not begging for you to like it, but it's like when you tell me to like not post it, this is my Instagram page. This is my life. It's like I could post whatever I want. You can unfollow. You could not like it, but it's like someone will be like, this is pretty good, but I hate rap and rap sucks, so you should shut up. And it's like, why even post that? Just keep it to yourself, you know? Or like, why be like, this is kind of good, but rap sucks and I hate this and I don't want to see it? Like, why talk? Like, you know, it's just like, what does that even mean? Like some of the comments are so douchey when I post rap stuff where it's like, it's just like, yo, you should do exactly what I want right now because I like your page and I want you to do this. So you like that type of talk. I'd rather you just say you don't like it, you know, or like it's not your style or you think it's not good. That won't necessarily earn a block. But like being like, you need to make a whole channel because of what I want. It's like, bro, am I your slave? Like what, like on what planet is that acceptable? It's not even a hater. It's just people are so douchey. And like, I like to talk shit too. So when people say stuff, like I like to respond, you know, which is not always good, but it's like, I just want to make that clear because some people will be like, oh, he blocked me because I didn't like my music. It's like, I don't care if you like my music, but it's just like, if I post a rap where it's like, why do you have to tell me to like make a whole new channel to post it? How about I just block you and then I still have 466,000 followers on Instagram? Like, how about that? I don't know. Like 466,000 people are fine with me posting a rap video once every 3 weeks, but you know, I should create a whole new channel with 0 followers just so you feel comfortable. like it's like the audacity of some of these people is just like hilarious to me. I'm not even mad at it. I'm just like laughing. It's like, yeah, that's what I'll do. So I have 1.6 million people and then 466,000, 270,000 on here and 200,000. You total it all up. It's over like 2 million people. They're all cool with it. But like, let me make a whole new thing just for you, for this website. So you don't have to hear it and comment on it. Like, it's like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? You know, like, it's just so, it's so like incredibly self-righteous and douchey. Like, dude, imagine if I followed a dancer, right? I follow some dancers that are sick because I think like dancing is cool. Like everything's cool if you're good at it. Sports are cool. I follow athletes. Imagine if an athlete posted a selfie on a mountain, was like, hey, I went hiking. And I'm like, yo, I follow you for surfing. I follow you for MMA. Make a new page to post you on a mountain with your girlfriend. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? It's fucking insane. You know, like it's not like I'm so offended or mad. It's just like the audacity. Imagine if Kelly Slater, who I'm friends with, who's the greatest surfer of all time, posted a video of him playing the guitar, which he likes to play, and he's pretty good at it, you know, and he posts like a sick guitar video. And I'm like, oh, Kelly, I follow you for surfing, not for your guitar videos. It's like, fuck you, bro. Like, not only is it fuck you, but it's like, I want to say fuck you so straightforward that you question ever doing that to anyone again, because it's like the douchiest thing in the world. Like, it's just like so crazy douchey. Like, dude, imagine like just, you know, like it's so crazy. Like, dude, make a whole new page because I don't want you to have post your hobby ever. It's not like I'm posting 50 rap videos in a row and never posting news videos. I posted one 2016 freestyle and it's fire. I mean, I have some good lines in it too. Like, I'm trying to think of the one line I said. I'm trying to think because it goes like, I say, y'all are with the doctors waiting for the indoctrination. Kids are pilled and can't see profits the pharmacy's making. Not to mention books are written by the ones bought or enslaving. Y'all believe a screen and wonder why you be caught in the matrix. That was 2017. That was a fire line. Y'all are with the doctors waiting for the indoctrination. Kids are pilled and can't see profits the pharmacy's making. Not to mention books are written by the ones bought or enslaving. Y'all believe your screen and wonder why you be caught in the matrix. Y'all cannot suppress me or arrest me. I had like the whole thing is super fire. And I was 17 at the time. I'm sorry, not 17. It was 2017, 7 years ago. It's like all the lyrics were fire. I said, people love me long time Kim Jong. The light too bright, it need a damn sun. You think I'm not the truth, you dead wrong. Tell the truth and end up missing. You think I'm not the best, you dead wrong. Tell the truth and end up missing. Right? Tell the truth and they don't like it, end up missing Ben Swan. I had a Ben Swan line because if you guys remember, Ben Swan talked about a certain topic and like he disappeared off television for like 3 years. My people love me a long time, Kim Jong. The light too bright, it need a dim sun. You think I'm not the best, you dead wrong. Tell the truth and they don't like it, end up missing Ben Swan. It's like that was like a reference that no one even knew. I was at a hip hop blog and like everyone's like, who's Ben Swan? But it's
pretty fire. He's fine now, but he just like went ghost for a couple years and then like resurfaced. But he was doing the best reporting on television, and he talked about a certain pizzeria, and then he just like disappeared on television for like 3 years. But it's like I drop a fire rap from 2017. Don't post that anymore on the Instagram for me. I don't want to see that. Okay, bro, go follow your favorite athlete. And when they post a selfie with their family, tell them that you're not here for the family post, that you're here for their political content. Like, you think I'm your dog or your slave? Like, just to even say that to me as a man is like insane. Like, I want to talk so much shit to you, so you never do that again. You know, it's just like pathological. It's like, I don't care if you like my rap. I don't care if you think I suck. It's just like it's like such a douchey level. I'm like, who are you, bro? Like, why would you say that? Like, yo, hey, stick to what I want you to do. It's not Fox News. It's not like I'm doing it on a 30-minute show. It's my Instagram page, bro. I can post what I want. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back with more videos soon. Let me know what you think. Someone said, did you really DM that guy saying go F yourself? Probably. I probably did. I don't know. At some point, I probably absolutely did say that to somebody, because like the level of how, I'm not even doing it justice. The level of how, and I don't do this all the time. I ignore 99.999% of people, but like the douchiness to be like, to like talk so much shit to me and be like, make a whole new page to do what I don't want you to do. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not here for this. It's like, go fuck yourself, bro. No one fucking cares. Excuse my language. No one fucking cares if you're here. There's 466,000 people here. Who the fuck cares if you're here or not? Like to type that to me and to try to get me to do what you want me to do because you want it done. I said, go fuck yourself. Talk to your dog that way. Like, you know, talk to a dog that way. Don't talk to me that way. Yeah, I probably did say it. I don't know who the lady is, but it's like, yeah, it's like that's an insane thing to say to somebody. Like, you know, most people would just ignore it, but I was annoyed. I was just like, why is this person talking to me that way? So appreciate you guys. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Someone said, I like the story about Anomaly banning his biggest donor. Did I do that? I didn't mean to do that. Is that something that happened? But I don't know. Have a good day, guys. I'll be back soon, I promise.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the